Good job, King. Good job, King.
Oh, good job, King. A double. Whiskey Lima, thanks for the tier 1. 44 months. Absolutely swole. Kahi, thanks for the 29. Has it really been that long? Well, why don't we have a man walk through a chain link and then a grandma try to, you know? There we go. Yo. How you guys doing this fine evening? Hungry Panda, thanks for the 28 months. Excuse me, is this the law offices of Big and Large? It is. Welcome. And Tay Barracuda, thanks for the 5 tier 1s. Appreciate it. Huge. Thanks for the grip. The stream is juicy. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back after a week. Jeez, I leave for a week on business. And look at all this shit I missed. I missed a World Championships Warhammer preview. That's it. But that's still a lot. It's a big thing, you know? Anyway, I'm going to look at it today. I'm going to check it out. And I figured I might as well wait till a stream to do so. Big hours upon us. Yeah, no, I haven't reacted to the new AoS stuff, Void Spark, yet. But I plan on it this stream. Evening from Scotland. Peanut streams games. All right. Thanks for being in Scotland. That's a weird thing to say, I guess. But, you know, what are you going to do? You have no choice. I suppose in a cosmic sense, I suppose you do, but makes sense. Get mob stocks way up. Yeah, I saw they're absolutely fresh stats. Warhammer stats. That's WOE. They have nothing to do with me. As of, I don't know, like 30 minutes ago. 28-ish. Yeah, woe stats be upon us. I'll check those out too. I don't have too much to say about them, probably. Because I'm not a follow the tournament scene kind of guy. But I could look at them. Hobgrot stocks yielding dividends to the penny traders. Yeah, just a little bit. Much to the chagrin of certain Discorders who shall remain nameless. Hobgrot Schlittos. Right? Those things. I mean, I don't really care for them, you know, looks-wise, but, you know, hey, they're good blam, you know. Small enjoyers are uninvited and unwanted. Only the big and large connoisseurs are allowed. No, we take all comers. If there were no small things, you wouldn't even know what's big. They're a valuable asset. It's like the stupidest play on you know, where just shadows longest, you need the light, or whatever stupid ass quote that is, you know, that all sorts of fantasy stuff. Sleep maxing part 1, maybe tonight, says SJ. Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw that you, unfortunately, there's like a maximum amount of time. I didn't even think of that in Premiere. I feel like maybe, I don't know, I could find some sort of program. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll look into it. Because I like the idea of 100 hours. You know? I like the idea of a video that's actually 100 hours. I'm gonna look, maybe I'll look into it. I'll see if there's a program that'll just like hitch them together and then export. It would be 34 total. Okay, well that's still, I guess that's only a third, but that's still pretty long. It was teased the rare L in its previews, then snuck in a W. Oh, gee. Okay, so it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions then. Is what I'm in for, you think? That could be the case. It will rate every single War Scroll in Age of Sigmar, the tier list, not clickbait. Yeah. Soulblight keeps going down, so everything's coming up Millhouse. Yeah, that way you might get some buffs. Come on in, the water's great. Why do we call it big? Because it's bigger than the clearly little things. True. Very profound. Branimate. How many War Scrolls are there? Has anyone counted? No, I haven't. I know that Stormcast has the most War Scrolls. After that, it's, I want to say Skaven. I don't think anyone has 100 yet. But, you know, pretend it's like 40 per army, times 25 or so. Because there's some with a real small amount, and, you know, Gargants are really just padding the numbers. You know, they have like 8. Stormcast is still in the 70 region, yeah, and they retired stuff too. You know, one time I was writing something for a video, and I wanted to know how many War Scrolls there were in Age of Sigmar. But I didn't want to go count them myself. And so I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, how many War Scrolls are there in Age of Sigmar? And it said, a lot. I don't know. And I'm like, no. Exactly how many are there? And it's like, give me some fucking paragraph of just nothing fluff text, where it was like, a lot, over 100 or whatever. And I'm like, no, give me a ballpark. Couldn't do it. Man, that thing sucks. At least it was honest. It wasn't honest. I'm paraphrasing. What it really said was some boilerplate ass high school student trying to double space their essay ass paragraph where it's like, Age of Sigmar is a game and it has lots of War Scrolls. Over 100. No one knows all this other stuff. I'm like, okay. I don't use ChatGPT ever, really. But every time I interact with it, it disappoints me. And now every time I Google something, an AI tells me the answer to the question I Google, and it's wrong so often that I just have to scroll past it. Can we make this thing good before we implement it fucking everywhere? Maybe this is like a boomer-ass complaint, but... The number of War Scrolls in Warhammer Age of Sigmar is very significant and prodigious. Yeah. It told you that it needed its own subscription to Warhammer Plus to get access to the War Scrolls. Well, there's where you're wrong. They'll scrape anything, legal or not. You know the phrase, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission? Well, they're doing neither. It just scraped everything. One of my coworkers, we got a story here. One of your coworkers is building an AI for your software, and he asked how he got it to give a correct answer after an incorrect one, and apparently he just writes, "That's wrong, try again." Okay. Alright, I'll try that next time. The problem is, and this is sort of poignant, perhaps, is that you have to know that it's wrong to tell it that it's wrong. And moving forward, that might be hard. But hey, alright. People who do programming tell me the thing is really useful. So I'll have to take their word for it on that one. I don't know anything about programming. Just finished gluing a box of Plague Bears together. Nice zoop. Nice. That's what this is for. Assembling stuff, working on something, having this on another screen somewhere. Based HeyWoah denigrating algorithmic generation. No one can be certain, but the total is an amount, yeah. You asked your sister for advice a while back, and she gave me an AI answer. It was a shitty, vague question, but come on, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there is historically something that is like that is okay, barred from entry. Like, I'm asked questions all the time that I just Google this is in the before time when Google was good. It isn't anymore. But yeah, and in the before time, somebody would ask me a question, I would just Google it, you know, and then that would be you would find the answer. And so that's like reasonable. Anyway, get shot, robot. Eat shit. Spam bot in my chat. It's ubiquitous, felicitous, and polyglottal. Couple of donkeys, yeah. Ahem. What happens when tech bros convince industries into spending billions of dollars on a piece of software that simply does not solve a $1 billion problem? That was sort of my initial take on it. Pestering pickle. Usually huge, expensive, leap forward technology like that is developed to solve a problem, but it doesn't seem to be like it's a solution searching for a problem in a certain way. I don't know. They'll figure something out. Have you seen the Patrician TV World of Warcraft? No. I haven't, SG Arcade. Would love a react stream to that. Patrician TV World of Warcraft? What are those words? I know World of Warcraft. It's a game I used to play. Rather liked it back in the day. Just count the points sheet, copy paste in Excel, easy. Well, I would if their website wasn't shit. Patrician is the 10-hour Morrowind guy. Oh, I like that guy. Okay, I do know that then. I like the existence of it. Yeah. I kind of want to do stuff like that in a certain way. But it's hard to find the time. I've been putting in some work on the Every Army video, as a matter of fact, recently. In between me leaving on business last week. I'm chugging my way through the script. I'm infusing this one with more lore. Because nobody seems to do that. Or it's not nobody seems to do that, but it's hard to find, I'll say. And I think I don't care how big or like how long the video is anymore. That was something I cared about when I was trying to grow the YouTube channel. But that tapered off after COVID, and so I think I'm just going to make a really good video that's as long as it has to be. There's 25 armies. If I talk about each army for 50 seconds, you know, considering an intro and an outro, like there's already half an hour. 50 seconds for an entire faction, you know? I did it. I did like a 30-second for each one with the second edition video. And that one did really well. But yeah, Pestering Pickle, that's true. All the lore is hidden in Soulbound and somewhat the novels, I guess. And so that's where I'm taking a lot of it from. Try infusing it with some bitches. Good meme. Your every faction video helped you get excited for AoS. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. And so why don't I do that again? Stormkeep dropped today an over 7-hour YouTube video reviewing the new Stormcast Battle Tome. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the new meta. As long as it needs to be, or possibly even longer than it should be, just for the funniness sake. Touch grass, try mowing it, kid is now a common phrase at your local game store. Nice. I'm sure someone thought of that one before me, but it was an independent invention. In fact, so few people do lore. I have half a mind to call the video Age of Sigmar lore, because I think that's the exact search term that someone would type in on YouTube. But then again, every army in AoS has somewhat of a pedigree, because I've done one for every edition, and they're all called that. So I don't know. We'll see. Jenny Nicholson made a video about how she didn't like the Joker, and later posted how there was a huge 14-hour response vid. Fans of the guy were like, how do you know it was about you? And she said, because my face was in the thumbnail, and it was called Response to Jenny Nicholson. Well, there you go, yeah. Did you not like the movie Joker, or just the character in general? The movie, okay. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen the movie. I'm not like a comic book movie kind of guy, and I understand that Joker seems to be constructed in a non-comic book movie kind of way, although it has to do with the subject matter, you know. And I've found that, in general, when you have a comic book movie that is trying to be like a real movie instead of a comic book movie, you know, like an actual movie. For instance, Logan, they tend to be pretty good. So I don't know, maybe the Joker is good. I haven't seen it. Nor have I seen the second one, which fewer people seem to have liked. Second one, people seem to have complaints about it. But I don't know or care what those complaints are. How do you feel about other YouTubers' every AoS army videos? I don't think I've seen any of them. If you're talking about the concept, I didn't invent the concept of doing an every army thing. I just did it for AoS when I don't think I was aware of anyone who did it before me. The reason I made it is because I couldn't find one, essentially, way back when. And I haven't updated mine since 3rd edition. It was a long time ago. You know, it's showing its age, and so if other people are doing them, sure, yeah, go ahead. Maybe some of them are good and stuff, I don't know. The Jonkster. You think comic book movies had their place in your life for a while, but that place was in the past? I suppose, yeah. You know, comic book movies, I think people are kind of over them at this point, and the numbers support that, but really they just slid right into what was once the big summer blockbuster, you know, just a pure popcorn movie, you know, a theme park movie, that kind of thing. Just some big, dumb, flashy thing you can eat an entire pizza in the theater with. Mostly turn off your brain and just look at the colors. Sometimes that's fun, right? Like, you know, that's fine. A few of them were even good. What was that? I liked the first Iron Man. That was a good with Jeff Bridges. I like that one. Good memes came out of that one. Captain America Winter Soldier was pretty good. It was basically like a weird period piece, heightened reality spy thriller thing. So I thought that one was fun. Even though it had that really annoying guy in it with the metal arm. Bucky, that guy. What was it? I think Endgame was good. I liked Endgame. They had like a fun bad guy in it in Endgame for once. But then the sequel to that was awful. Can't really think of any others. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was alright. It was like fun, you know? 2 was real bad, never saw 3. It's no Stone Keep opening movie. Yeah, true. Damn, he's good. You just don't like live-action adaptations of comic book materials. Animation is done well, but you haven't liked the live-action ones. I think if you are a fan of the subject matter, like you read the comic book or something, you might not have a good time. But also, they're not made for you. They're made for normal people who go to work and talk about the big game that happened last week. And a lot of times, artistically, it wouldn't translate well, really, anyway. Running with Spoons, hey, thanks for the tier 1 sub, I appreciate it. What army would the Joker play? Good meme. I don't know that he would have the patience. Your line about Stormcast bringing the fire instead of being a candle in the dark got a friend into Sigmar. She's collecting Stormcast now. Nice, Whiskey Lima. Yeah, that is a Carl Sagan reference, the candle in the darkness. Great science communicator from the 70s. You know, I try to hide intelligence as little Easter eggs here and there in the videos, or at least a big word or two, you know. Rocketman makes very good army guides with high quality, simple art for the units. Cost is in, yeah, the trade-off is infrequent uploads, but isn't it always? Yeah, that, you know, quality takes time, unless you got a lot of money. But usually what it takes to get a lot of money is not caring about quality, so, you know, what are you going to do? Hollywood wants predictable success. That's because movies are an investment, yeah. They want a return. You haven't watched any new movies in some time. You have a 22-hour flight coming on Sunday, so you needed material. Hey, no big deal. Warhammer movies era is right around the corner for sure. Man, a Warhammer movie just sounds like a Warcraft movie, where it wouldn't work very well. Definitely not a Warhammer fantasy movie. 40K is the genre to choose for that, but I don't know. I'm imagining it in my head of like CG Superman's face inside some bad CG armor and the stupidest story. I don't know. In my head, it can't be good. I don't know. Gotrek and Felix, perhaps? Nah. What I would do is, let's see. I think you could do one of two things. You could, if you had an infinite budget and you didn't care about it bombing, you would do the Horus Heresy, because that's the only part of any of the stories the wider community gives a fuck about. Even though it's not very good, in my personal opinion. Or you would give it to, like, I don't know, fucking James Gunn or something like that, and get a Sea of Cain, you know, Blackadder in space kind of thing. But then that's not really the tone of 40K as an introduction point, you know. It's a spin-off, almost. That's why people wanting a Warhammer series movie don't realize the kind of monkey's paw they're wanting to pick up. The subject matter won't be meant for fans, but a general audience that doesn't care or understand. Yeah, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that's fine. Really depends on who you give it to. Yeah, it's... As with all things, it comes down to the basement floor. The scaffolding upon which everything else is built, writer and director. If the script is good and the director is good, you have a chance. And it probably wouldn't be. But GW is pretty hands-off with all that stuff anyway. They just sell their IP to game companies, for the most part. They're not really hands-on with it. With a movie, they might feel that they need to be. Or, I don't know, it's just too much of an investment. Movies are really expensive nowadays. But then again, I guess so are games. The quest for Gene Seed, yeah. A standalone 40K movie would have to be so small in scale that it wouldn't represent the game well. I don't think you want to represent the game. I think you want to represent the setting. It would be like the most dark gothic, acerbic Starship Troopers satire thing, you know, if you wrote with tons of, you know, religious, theocratic, totalitarian, crippling, endless bureaucracy, right? It'd be like if you gave Terry Gilliam human growth hormone and $300 million. Something like that. We already got a 40K movie. It was just bad. Are you referring to that one bad horror movie from like 1999 or 2000 or what was that one called? It's a horror movie in space and they like go into hell or whatever, and the word on the street is that the script was kind of based on 40K. They just changed enough so that it looked like you didn't copy the homework. Event Horizon, yeah, that one. And the director of it insists there's like a real copy of it somewhere that the studio didn't meddle with, and it's actually good, but no one believes him. In some salt mine vault somewhere. Do the third Bad Lieutenant movie, but this one is 40K years after the second. Port of Call. Get Werner Herzog to direct it again. Yeah. Perfect. Put him in power armor. Not Event Horizon. It was an actual Space Marine movie in like 2006. Was it a fan film? Or is this just a... Surely it wasn't a theatrical release. I probably would have heard of it. Maybe not in 2006. I mean, they already... I suppose they did do... What was the one? What was the senior project that kid did right after he took a storyboarding class and still had it fresh in his mind? And it's like 20 minutes long if you put all the parts together, and it's actually following the rules of storyboarding and editing that you're supposed to follow, and so everyone thinks it's really good. Because they're right, it is good. Astartes, yeah, that one. That's, give me a 2-hour long Astartes, right? I'll take it. That would be good. Oh, it was made by GW. Okay, so it wasn't a fan film then. The one from 2006 that you guys are talking about. Type of superhero movie you want are ones directed by Joel Schumacher. Let's get wild again. Straight to DVD, okay. Redbox, huh? L Attack, thanks for the Prime for 11 months. Appreciate it. Big. Astartes Nuts. Nice. Good one. You trust the guy who directed the Resident Evil movie that he made a secret good version of Event Horizon? Yeah. Oh, wait. Is that Uwe Boll? Am I thinking of the right guy? There's a lot of hack frauds floating around in my brain, and I'm not good with names. So it might not be him. Oh, Paul W.S. Anderson. Okay. Paul Werther's Originals. Adeptus Mechanicus, but they're Muppets like the Dark Crystal. Jim Henson spinning in his grave. Among the Stars. Writer impressions. Maybe all the rules of writing are actually stupid and it would be genius to break them all at once. Yeah. Hey, sometimes that kind of works. However, the rules are, the adage is true. You should know the rules before you break them. You can make a jump cut. You just got to do it with purpose and have it be required. Like, have there be a reason for it. Mad God is a pretty Warhammer movie. Shit, I forgot to watch that. I have it, on my computer waiting. It looked sick. I want to see it. There's plenty of solid 40K stories that could work. It's just budget and a good screenwriter and the will to do it, It would need so much CG and shit, though. Even though he's dumb. I shouldn't say that. Even though he's dumb, if you got the perfect script, I think Jim Cameron could actually pull it off, technology-wise. Like, if he was in charge of all the tech Don't let him talk to any of the actors. Have a real director somewhere else. But yeah, give Cameron a lighter hue of blue person to work with. You think trying to explain all the different factions and enemies would be too much? Yeah, you don't want to preach to them or explain. You gotta zoom in, make a real small story, but let you see the horizon. If you go into Mad God with zero expectations, I will. Yeah. I want to see a crazy man's 40-year passion project. I come to it purposefully knowing nothing. I just want to see it. If it was not in the know, the U.S. military gives Hollywood access to equipment for films if they'll be pro-military. Yeah, of course. Careful, that same logic will get you a ticket to Megalopolis. Fine. Truly fine. What was that other one from the people that made The Matrix and then literally nothing else good ever? Well, the lesbian movie was pretty good before that. Turns out they had some insight. Wachowski's siblings, as I think now they're supposed to be called, I'm not sure. Yeah, Cloud Atlas, that's the one. Not Jupiter Ascending. Chill the fuck out. Cloud Atlas. I had read the book, and so I was excited to see someone try to make this unfilmable book. Because I liked the book, but it was a steak dinner. You had to chew your food when you were fucking reading it. It was so dense. I'll take Megalopolis. I'll take Cloud Atlas, you know. Essentially, I'll take visionary stuff that's way too big for you to handle, and so you're trying to, and you are crushed by it, you know. Some super flawed, you know, thing like that. I'll take one of those every once in a while over Transformers 17. Or fucking Green Arrow. Or Ant-Man and the Bee movie or whatever. Like, I'll take something that somebody was passionate about and fucking failed. I'll take that forever. Good. At least it's someone with a vision trying to do something, as opposed to just like a fire hose of slop. Speed Racer is actually the perfect movie. I'm told that Speed Racer was actually good for what it was supposed to be. I haven't seen it because I don't care about Speed Racer at all, but that's what I was told. Lesbian movie, I think it was their first movie. They were given a little budget, and they're like, hey, make something to let us know that you can direct. And so they made this lesbian movie, and it was pretty good at the time. And so they're like, okay, you can make The Matrix. And then it was great. And after that, well, the less said, the better. Yeah, Jennifer Tilly was in it. I think. But freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Yeah. You were in a scene in the Green Lantern? Which one, Ref? Were you an extra? Did you get your $50 from the producer after 3, maybe 5 months in the mail? Oh, it's called Bound. Yeah, that's the one. Don't judge me. I saw it when it came out. I don't know if it's aged well. Probably hasn't, but whatever. Extra and you never got the check mailed. Yeah, figures. I'd like to say that that's not how it usually is, but that would be a lie. Columbo set in 40K, that's what Games Workshop needs. True. Yeah, absolutely. I want Columbo the Inquisitor and a tech priest Hunter S. Thompson buddy cop movie. Trying to take down a political insider within the Inquisition. Somebody get on it. They had that. It's called Sherlock Juan Kenobi or something. You want a 3.5 movie on the origin of rattling guns and the history of Clan Scryer. A side narrative about Warpvolt scroungers and how jealous the rat inventor is of the rattling gun. All right. So, I just brought it up on my screen here. The Warhammer Championships Warhammer preview that I missed. Speaking of films, this thing's 53 minutes long. And you guys have no doubt seen it already. Am I gonna just watch this thing, or am I clicking through it? Actually, I guess I could click through the non-Age of Sigmar stuff. If it needs clicking through. Maybe the shit is really cool and I'll care. You know? Anyway, I might wind myself up for that. So the plan is World Championship Warhammer preview. I'll watch most of it, but I might click through the shit that I don't care about, which hopefully aligns with what you don't care about. And then also there's the video game awards, which I feel like I need to vote on because I'm allowed to. So we got to vote on those. You're down for a pure remake of 300 of Space Marines instead of Spartans, as long as they're still topless. Everything else is armor, even they got like power fists and helmets and like pants, but just no breastplate. And it's bronze. Just as much slow motion. Yeah, still got the shoulder pads, it's just nothing underneath. So World Eaters. I suppose that is kind of corn, isn't it? In 40. It kind of is, isn't it? See, I was trying to come up with something over the top, but I forgot we're talking about Games Workshop here, and so that's their bread and butter. Wouldn't have it any other way. Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau. Yeah. Helmets or no helmets? Helmets for sure. Because it'd look stupider without a breastplate on. Mean an over-the-top competition when I see my opponent as Games Workshop? Yeah. But, you know, that's the fun. That's the fun of it. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm gonna watch this thing. It's gonna be 53 minutes long. Probably shorter because we're clicking. How's this for volume?
Hello and a very warm welcome to the World Championship online preview. My name's Nick, this is Alex. Alex, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to show.
Oh, it's Alex. And the flannel overload.
Warhammer the Age of Sigmar, Warhammer the Horus Heresy, Warhammer the Old World, and some stuff from Black Library.
That's going to be stuff you're expecting.
Hold on. Was there no AoS? Or did I miss that because I was looking?
40,000, Warhammer the Age.
Okay, I did miss it because I was looking at chat. All right. I almost closed the video.
Age of Sigmar, Warhammer
Load.
the Horus Heresy, Warhammer the Old World, and some stuff from Black Library.
That's going to be stuff you're expecting, stuff you're not expecting. It's going to be very exciting. We're here, of course, this weekend because the World Championships are taking place.
Yeah, I watched half of one of the
right now
games.
as we speak, as well as the grand narrative there as well.
I want to say it was
Yes, it is.
You're there this
it
weekend.
was Cruel
Yeah,
Boys
I'll
against
summon
something.
here and there.
Zinch maybe.
You're being a Necron, I believe, of
I
some
am
description,
indeed.
which is it's great. I can't wait to see that costume. But there we go. Welcome to all of you at the event, especially. But without any further ado, it's time to look at our first preview, and this one's been waited for and looked forward to for a long time.
All right. That looks like a horse. Horse Hammer 40K. All right, so we're bringing in some World War I into these. Because there were some old school cavalry used in World War I. So I guess we're dialing it back a little bit. Gas masks are cool. I see they have one for the horse. That's nice. Oh, and more. What's more? Command squad, all right.
The Death Corps of Krieg are back.
They're here. They're finally here.
Krieg
We've been
are
talking
back,
about these
huh?
guys for a long time, and it's finally time to unleash a Death Corps of Krieg into the world. And that army set looks really cool as well, doesn't it?
Indeed.
They are a much awaited for and beloved regiment, aren't they?
Okay. I'm looking at the horse feats here. I'm not seeing hooves. I'm seeing some raptor looking stuff. So these are genetically engineered partial robot horses, right? And so that's how they can kind of do anything, I suppose, on the battlefield. Death Corps of Krieg they've always been yeah, I know that they've been a thing. They redid a veteran squad a while back, so they remade the whole army. Krieg is very World War I, yeah,
We've
it
had
looks
them,
like it.
in the kill team box. We've seen some resin from.
It's an
Forge.
alien clone
Now we're
horse.
getting a
Vat-grown
whole
horse
plethora
creature's
of
serial
these
number instead of a
in
name.
plastic.
Yes,
Cool.
alongside the
All right.
Astrum and the Tyrant Codex, of course, and they'll be the first army.
That's
of
great. Look at
2020.
this. Look at this cover art. This cover art is great. Why can't we have good cover art?
What a way to kick off the year. Alex, first of all, before we go any further, who are the Death Corps of Krieg? How do they fit into 140,000?
So, the Death Corps of Krieg are the regiments that are raised on the world of Krieg. Now, Krieg fell into civil war.
What
about 500
great
years
art
ago,
this
and It's
is.
never been the same since. The surface is now a blasted, irradiated wasteland. And when the
That's because it's 20
Imperium
years old
contacted
art.
the
It's
initial
nostalgic art.
Imperiums,
Oh, well, I think it's just
the most
good.
Imperium thing possible went, you owe some tithes. And Krieg, instead of sending some troops or one regiment, provided 20 regiments,
Wow,
fully
okay.
equipped. And
20
immediately
regiments.
the comments in Murator and went, this is great, took over the world, sort of tuned everything up to 11, and so now they just pump out all of these fantastic soldiers.
That's cool. It seems to me like it's a bit of
Krieg is a
war
mix-up
and
of World War
French.
I German with
Yes,
French.
so,
Okay.
Life for them is not necessarily cheap, so they're not part of like a cult of sacrifice necessarily, but they've had it ingrained, indoctrinated into them since birth that they need to sell their lives in
Krieg
service
models
in
would work well for that
to get
Trench Crusade game. You know, I was thinking that. I didn't want to say it.
Are a great representation of the armies of the Astra Militarum, of course.
Look at how terrible these look compared to them. But I guess that's how it'll always be, you know, when you're updating things piecemeal. You got some little Super Nintendo pixel art characters down here, but
Regiments upon regiments of
I guess that's what
infantry
happens.
backed up by huge guns and artillery, and of course
20
loads
legions of
thunderbolts,
Sardaukar,
there's
yeah.
tanks,
Oh, yes.
and there's all of that to be expected inside the
Trench Crusade looks so
spearheads as
good.
well.
I don't know anything
Right,
about
let's
Trench
take a look
Crusade
at
aside
some
from the
of the
art,
miniatures we've
which
just
is
seen
great.
in the army set.
That's all I know
Up
about it.
first, these are incredible. These are the Death Riders, now available in plastic. Who
The
are these
Death
guys?
Riders.
These guys, the riders tend to be a little more free-thinking than your average Krieg soldier. They're given a little bit more freedom in order to operate. It's from their ranks that most of the officer corps are eventually taken.
Of like Explodo lances or
steeds they're on look very much
electric
like
shock
horses,
lances or something, it looks
A
like.
bit weird, aren't they?
So they essentially roll off a production line. They're given subdermal armor. They're given rebreathers, and you can see there at the end of their legs, they're not hooves, they're claws. So they're a product of Krieg, whereby life is a little bit cheaper than the tank. Therefore,
Grenade lances. Okay, so they're
it's not claws
explosive
that can
lances,
get
sure.
over any kind of
Makes
rubble
sense.
or debris or whatever it is in the way. And these guys, they act as scouts, they act as shock troops. They really pack a punch.
Old school grimdark aesthetic with zero concern if gore is disturbing to people. Yeah, it looks
The
good.
Rough Riders with Tiller we've seen
I don't know too
before,
much about
just
it,
to punch
but-
into a unit as hard as they possibly can. But these guys
But all guard models look like generic World War II troops to you. I mean, that they are. That's what they're supposed to be.
And they have
It's,
the screening line,
you know,
which shows them
purposeful
move.
anachronism.
Enemies have moved as
They're
well
like,
to protect
okay,
their lines, and they can get
here's
locked down into
space, here's
combat.
future
Every
everything.
single
We're going to put
one
World
carries
War
a power
II in
system,
there
which
because
is
it would
really
look cool.
And
you know.
they therefore protracted combat, so you can charge them in and lead them against infantry units rather than just try and destroy in one hit, which is nice. So lots of different uses for them. Speed, combat,
Free thinking Krieg soldier, sure. They said more free thinking.
Claws actually have nice rules.
So from like 1% to 2% maybe.
Sharper than a spaceman's combat blade, which is great. These are fantastic. I love the fact in particular you talked about when they're rolled off the production line.
I think these guys look cool.
They're not given names. They're all given serial
I don't
numbers.
like the claw feet of the horses, but then again, I usually don't like it when they take two animals and duct tape them
Now,
together.
guns never tire in 40k, and it's certainly
Indeed.
true in the Krieg forces. These are the artillery teams, huge guns, even bigger than the field ordnance.
Yeah,
we've seen
fun
before.
artillery. That's
Tell me
fun.
more about the siege artillery of the
So-
Krieg's forces.
Krieg tends to specialize, as we said, in siege warfare. And,
Yeah,
if you're
mortars
trying
and
to attack
stuff.
a bunker or a fortress or anything,
This is
you need
cool.
something that is going to smash apart the walls so you can charge in. This is exactly what these things do. Now, there's a couple of different weapon options for these.
So yeah, there are 4 weapon options for the artillery teams. Here we've got the
Ooh,
heavy
more weapon
launchers,
options. Okay, you
artillery
got the-
forces, smashing
you have the
heavy
boring
artillery.
one.
Quad launchers are there for
The
massive
cool
infantry.
one.
The multiple rocket launcher takes out.
The I'm not sure yet one, I gotta think about it.
And my favorite, this huge siege
And then
cannon, which is
the
just
long
a
one.
devastating explosive charge.
It's a
that
grower.
damage 3 shots. Now, none of these are very accurate, but when they hit hard, which is great. It's nice to have these miniatures at the back of the battlefield. And of course, that model is huge. It's on a 130mm round base.
Not very accurate. Dude, half of mathematics exists so that our siege weapons could be more accurate. What do you mean? I'm insulted.
Which is monstrous. It's a nice little diorama for your forces as well. Really cool little bit of equipment and stuff at the back as well. It's a really nice little modelling project. And I hope you like painting sandbags. Up next, we've got the Krieg Combat Engineers, Alex. Now, these guys look like they're running forwards, which isn't ideal for guardsmen normally.
I like these guys a little less.
Be on a gun line with, a lot of his mates.
Yeah.
The Shagohod. Dude, they did it. It's the Metal Gear tank. Let's go with the swirly spinny movers on it. Metal Gear 3, alive and well.
But really, these guys, their duty is to go forward, to dig trenches, to clear wires, clear landmines. It's a really thankless job. But they've got a little bit more armor and they're equipped for close quarters fighting. So they've got flamers and shotguns and swords and
Okay.
trench clubs.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, he's got a big oven mitt there. That's fun.
They've also got the scout rule. They can move before the game begins to get further forwards. The grenadiers rule lets them have the
Krieg artillery is the most accurate in the galaxy.
Here we can see
Always
this
hits the ground.
remote mine, which is a
Good
really
meme.
cool little attack that one of the guys over the controller just sends out, doing mortal damage to nearby units. Which is just a cool little model and probably going to be everyone's favourite of the preview, isn't it? Let's be honest. What a great set that is. But leading them all into battle is the famed Lord Marshal Dreer.
Yeah, I
Yes,
like him.
model This is, Alex.
So Lord Marshal.
That being
Barlow
said,
Dreer,
GW has done a lot
his
of
position,
leader man
trying
on
to
horse
as you
models
expect,
recently,
that's
and they're all really
leads from
good.
the front. this isn't a general.
They did the Nurgle one that looks like Death Dealer. That one was great. They did the Cities of Sigmar one. That one looks great.
They've all got numbers, not names.
This one's good. The single leader on a horse, Games Workshop has it on lock.
It's called repaired rather than just healed.
They never have given any of them any rules worth a goddamn, but they look good.
Dreer is well aware that that's not actually the case.
Well, it's a nice little bit of narrative here comes in the gameplay because this myth about him being indestructible, actually, he has a rule called tough to kill, whereby, like my Lord and Savior, Ruta Gulliman, he can come after he's been killed.
He has a rule called the name of a
he's particularly tough to get rid of.
Steven Seagal movie when he was past his prime and just tossing him out.
And his sword there is
tough to kill.
Sacrifice is a devastating sword too. He's an inspirational leader for your forces. Don't run away when he's nearby, and can lead Death Riders units into the fray as well, which is just great. Gives devastating wounds on a charge to a unit of Death
Why are we
Riders.
riding Civil War style horses in futuristic combat scenarios? Because they're meant to evoke World War One, which did still have some cavalry in it. Disastrous, I might add.
There's also other stuff coming alongside Death Corps of Krieg. Now, of course, we've got the Astra Militarum Codex here. Now, we've talked a lot about the Krieg stuff, but of course, the Astra Militarum Codex will deal with the entire forces, the Cadians and other forces. It mentions all the regiments of the Astra Militarum in there as well. Just like any other codex, you can expect to see the backgrounds of the regiments, the fighting units, the rules for all of those, the history of its most.
That's a lot of tanks.
Fought through in the past.
I guess that's what you're supposed to say.
There's a brand new combat patrol as well called Drayden's Lance, which sees Rough Riders of Attila charging into battle, backed up by Kazakin and a command squad, which is great.
Yeah, this is an incredibly flexible combat patrol. Because as you said, those Rough Riders give you a huge amount of speed, and the Kazakin form a really nice solid centre.
It's a really nice start for an army as well. If you're thinking about starting Astra Militarum, don't forget the current Astra Militarum combat patrol is still good to use as well, so don't worry about that. And of course, the Codex will see every rule for every unit.
This thing looks so out of place stylistically, doesn't it? I feel like it looks so out of place. It doesn't fit.
Character and vehicle.
This looks like it's from a Marvel movie where they just made up
how units are
some sort of carrier.
Tank commanders, for example, a Lemurus tank commander and a Rogel Dawn tank commander are separate things now, so they can have their own rules. And the detachments.
I suppose cohesion must be hard because there's a whole bunch of different guards, I bet.
Depending on how you want to fight. For a combined arms regiment, you've got a siege regiment for all your big guns. The mechanized assault for jumping out of tanks. Hammer of the Emperor is just all tanks. Which has a really nice stratagem where your tanks
just tanks, and then they got
like it wasn't there.
they got AT-ATs.
It's basically all about your guys being camouflaged and using cover to the best of their ability.
Or wait, which one is it?
Anyway, you want to play Imperial Guard, you've got a choice.
Which one is the two-leg one? Is that AT-AT or AT-ST? I can't remember anymore.
Into combat, you might risk your own guys, but it's worth it.
You definitely do risk your own guys. You're absolutely right. Yeah, your whole army can fire into a combat, but the unit, your friendly unit in combat is
AT-ST, yeah.
Other releases
Old Rich Evans.
alongside the Astra Militarum release after the army set will include the Death Corps of Krieg command squads. Which is a
Man, that Rich Evans had a promising future in acting.
You'll notice
It's too bad he died of adult onset childhood diabetes.
A commissar, and on the left is a commissar cadet as well. Why commissars here for the Death Corps?
So for most units, a commissar.
All right, he's pointing. It looks cool.
A measure by which morale is kept by everybody who does their duty. However, for the Krieg, it's sort of the opposite way around. So they have a habit of not necessarily expending their lives needlessly, but perhaps a little bit more
No, it's that. It's that.
enthusiastically than other regiments. And so the commissars are often there to hold them back.
He's got skull buttons on his pirate coat.
To resist toxins.
Oh, we got the
warfare specialist.
Doctor. Tabor Kuda, thanks for the tier 1 sub.
As well as all your veterans in there, and maybe my favourite Servo Skull in Warhammer 40,000, the Servo Skull pair who are there to keep notes of everything with a little inkwell and pen.
You know this is a note to last because he's got the second Servo Skull making sure it never touches the ground.
Aren't the Red Letter Media crew in your neighborhood? Yeah, yeah.
Alongside is the heavy
I
weapons.
used to live in Milwaukee as it happened.
Before this is the Krieg version with slightly different weapons. Actually, there's 3 different weapon options here. We've got the twin-linked stubber. We've got the big old las cannon. You'll have seen those before in plenty of different ways. But exciting enough is the
look at the big prime GD Panda for the 44. Big Kriegan. Yeah, we're Kriegers.
You don't really think think of having a heavy flamer as part of a weapons thing
Doctor,
like this.
disable my
As you can
Krieg
imagine, so you
inhibitor.
took one in a squad, it's that guaranteed Overwatch success.
I mean, take 3 in a squad, Alex, if you wanted to. Why not? These are range 18, strength 5, AP1, damage 2 flamers. Oh, that's absolutely devastating. Don't
Damage
charge them.
2
Really do.
flamers.
Really
Big
cool to see
flamer.
those. And there we go. That is all the new models coming for the Death Court of Krieg, which is exciting. But there's more stuff coming in the festive period.
There
Right?
is. So throughout December, on the Warhammer community website, there's going to be a series of downloads available, which are detachments for
You like these guys
Warhammer
because they all wear masks
kind
instead of having awful faces to paint? I mean, that's part of the charm.
Happy Grotmas,
You
everybody.
know?
Yeah, throughout December, we're releasing 30.
It's cool when you get both, right? You don't have to paint a face, but they look really cool.
All game legal, you can use them.
So you're not even paying for it.
And there's some really exciting stuff in there, including the index for the Death Watch is on the way. Death Watch players will be very happy to see there'll be ways that you can use your kill teams that you have in their new index coming, and also Chaos Demon players can be excited too. There's 4 detachments coming.
Man, those
there.
blood letters looking real old.
Chaos powers. What's really nice is that they
Diablo
future
2
proof
ass
too.
goblins.
So we've just seen the Astra Militarum is getting their new codex soon, but their Astra Militarum detachment they're getting during the Grotmas calendar is still legal once that book comes out too. So yeah,
So when you get your new codex, you can still continue to use these.
absolutely, it's really cool,
Brilliant.
isn't it? Nice to see. Right, and we're going to leave 140,000. And we're going to head off to the old world.
Oh, we're heading off to the old world. A bulwark against the rising dankness. That already exists, and it looks terrible. Why are you showing me an old model? Show me new old world models. I guess maybe is that something they don't do, or new old world? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Yeah, those things look awful. I hate them. Yeah. Griff Chargers, sure. Please,
Yes,
that's
the
it. That's it. Hey, remember these 3 things? They're still here. Hey, all right. It's hard to get excited about the old world when they do that.
Empire of Man returns to the old
Although
world.
it's not
Much
targeted at
more
me in
time
any case.
For the old world. And here it is with a whole swathe of releases. This is really exciting.
Yeesh.
Huge number of kits coming back for this, and one of the best things about it is that this means you can field a whole Empire army entirely in plastic.
That is great. It's a really
The shit looks so bad. These dudes, the flagellants over there. Why show the Griffin? It'll be out of stock for the next 3 years. You're excited. You're clapping with your oxygen mask in the casino. Yeah.
really cool thing to see. Many people who've played with Empire in the past will recognize a few of these miniatures, if not all of them. It's just great to see them back on the table again. But for now, who are the Empire of Man at this point in the old world, Alex?
So for about 1,000 years, the Empire has basically been in a state of disarray.
Okay.
After the time of the 3 emperors, we've had the Vampire Wars, and finally, there's now about 4 factions. And they're not in a civil war outright, but, you know...
If you're over 25, you'll
recognize
recognize these.
skirmish happens, so not everything is particularly peaceful.
How many of these are still playable in cities? Has all of this been Legends? Wait, no. Steam tanks. I know Steam tanks still are. The 2-headed griffin, but not the other griffin, I don't think. Oh, all right. I just read chat. Flagellants are still technically in AoS. Although I would guess
These are
they're not long for this
professional
earth.
soldiers. There are blocks of state troops, missile troops, artillery, cavalry, and of course
There it is, the Hellfire missiles.
fantastic monsters and war machines too. They're such a fun army to have, and we're going to see loads of old favorites coming back, including the state troops, the missile troops, the pistoliers, the knights, demigriff knights, and of course more exotic things like
God, I hate this thing. It looks so dumb.
Steam
I don't
tank,
like it.
The General on Griffin,
Loads.
and the War Altar are all coming back as well, which is really cool. We've got some metal kits coming back as well, right? Remember the Grand Masters of the Night?
Oh,
Lords
there it is.
From the past, I painted the Knights Panther on
A blast from the past.
They're coming back. Warrior Priests, Tuchin Guard are on the way as well, which is nice to see. There's a strong Middenheim theme for this force this time around. We've got the Made to Order stuff with the
Oh.
Empire
Good
Engineers,
face.
Standard Bearer, General on Griffin, the Commander on Pegasus
Oh,
is coming
no.
back, flying in from the 90s. Some real classics. We're also going to see the Imperial Ogres coming back. Now, these predate even my Empire army. Great to see these coming back from the past.
And this guy, this is the one with the hand cannon, but there's also going to be hand weapons and great weapons.
Yeah, there's going to be a few options. Literally a hand cannon this guy's carrying. But, Alex, let's talk about the star of the show. It is, of course,
The War Wagon.
The War Wagon is making its appearance back in the old world after not being available for some 25 years. It's just great to see. Now, this is
It wasn't available for 25 years, and it's coming back.
They've taken the original kit and remastered it up, sharpened up a lot of the points, made the detail crisper. They've re-sculpted the...
Remastered. Did you hear them? 25 years old, remastered it. Crisping up the details a little bit, rounded off some edges. Remastered.
horses at the front, those are brand new. And this chap here is the engineer that
This
accompanies them
chap
to the
here.
model as well. But it's just great. Now, I'm right thinking there's lots of strange weapons on top of the guys in that little
That's a man catcher.
Yes, there is. So these sort of things fell out of.
That's a real
fashion
weapon.
in the Empire.
And then a
When
halberd.
Norm came along and decided to deploy an entire fleet of them. Everybody wanted a piece of the action.
You've got in there the man catcher, you've got the bombard launcher, the Hochland long rifle, there's a repeater gun and a hook halberd in there as well. All the experimental weapons together in one place just in case one of them explodes, which is nice to see.
Oh, good point. They got rid of the Karl Franz references as part of the remaster.
A great miniature.
New horses.
Add it to your collection very soon for the old world. Wonderful to see. And of course, alongside all the releases, we have the Arcane Journal for the Empire of Man. And naturally, it's got all the history.
That's not a great cover. I would have chosen some famous old guy. I remember the cover from '98 looking ass art. You know, I would have used some of that for the old world since they're going all in on nostalgia anyway.
The Empire, the city-states, the geography, uniform guides in there. There's a historical refight in there. We can fight a battle against the Beastmen. And new armies of infamy in there as well, aren't there?
There are indeed. So we can we've got a non-gun line there, and there's also you can field any of the
Gum line.
orders.
They each have their own special rules, which is nice. Yeah, so you have a nice Panther army, a Blazing Sun army, which is really cool. And there's some new special characters too.
There are indeed. So we've got Harold Gemmenson, Grandmaster of the Knights Panther, and General Hans von.
Okay, I
We
don't
don't get any
care
pictures of those yet. They are very low.
At all.
Exciting times. So keep your eyes on that. And
about the old world. Holy.
when it's available. Now, from one old world to another. we
Resident
go to
Sleeper.
Horus Heresy.
All right, Horus Heresy. Whenever the Horus Heresy gets stuff, it seems to be like completely awesome. I mean, that's cool. Yeah, this thing's cool. It's got a little bit of World Fair vibes to it, the Horus Heresy does. Well, that's a Y-Wing. Look at this dude. I don't need arms, dude. I have guns. The base robot chassis I don't like very much, but I appreciate not having any actual limbs and just wide gunning.
So the Arvus Lighter returns, the little pig that could fly.
What a great kit and beloved.
Bigger,
by Horus Heresy.
wider,
All over.
flamer.
Wonderful to see. Actually available in plastic now, which
Yes.
is really cool for the
This
first
thing
time
looks pretty
in
Star
this
Wars, but then
Why is
again,
it
they're
so
pulling from the same
So
era
typically when
of
the army wants to deploy something, they've got these massive landers. However, if you just want to bring, some bullets, some fuel, a squad,
inspiration.
the Arvus Lighter is basically the workhorse of the Divisio Aeronautica.
I remember using them in Aeronautica Imperialis quite a lot, and they're great.
The
in that too.
T-pose
Nice to see them here. They are
formation,
a cheap
yeah.
transport flyer for your armies of Heresy. They can transport 12 solar auxiliary models, and they can move 20 inches, which is fast. So ideal for a combat
Yeah,
assault
when I
or
said
a
Y-wing, I definitely meant
you know,
A-wing.
special
That's
unit out for
arcade.
combat as soon as they need to. It's
I
just
definitely
great to see.
meant
What's
A-wing.
nice as well is the new model's got this chap in the back, modelled to be firing a huge laser cannon out the back as well.
That's it, and he's modelled directly in there, so he's hanging out. It's a lovely little bit of character to the model.
That's really nice, and also I'm told that there'll be rules for that on the way soon as well, which is cool too. Great to have that in the game. But let's on to another couple of tanks. Always fun for Heresy. This is the Valdor Tank Destroyer. That might be
Driven by my
one of the biggest guns I've ever
favorite
seen.
Star Wars
But
character,
So these are based on the Malkador frame.
Glor
essentially.
Blimpo.
And this is an older.
What was that other one?
Tank.
Glup
which
Shitto.
will be replaced by the Lehman Russ because it's a
My
little bit
favorite
less
Star Wars
reliable,
character.
however, it's
He's a
bigger,
jizz
thicker
whaler.
armor, you know, at this point in time, it's
Before
more
George
variants,
Lucas
and this
realized
tank
what that meant and changed
basically
it.
has a neutron beam weapon on the front of it, and these are basically replicas.
Fucking
of
retcons,
Dark
am I
Angel
right?
relics, so they're incredibly powerful. And in order to power it, they've in fact had to remove the front sponson to fit in more power
It's
generation.
just a giant battery in the back as it's
Oh,
firing
yes.
that big gun. I love the fact that the Heresy weapons are called things like a neutron beam laser. It just does what it says on the tin. It's a devastating weapon. It's strength 10, concussive 3, AP 1, and the whole tank is armor 13 all round, so it's pretty tough too.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cool looking thing.
Also on the Malkador frame is the Malkador Infernus, and this one it maybe has a different speciality.
Yeah.
So we've gone
Infernus.
from heavily anti-tank to heavily anti-infantry. It's got a massive flame weapon on the front. The carriage on the back contains a mixture or a series
Just
of
a bunch
fuels
of
that
rocket fuel in the
mixed
back.
pumped
Sure.
just behind the turret. And
That does look
the
weird.
version that
It makes
builds this as
sense.
An element of safety.
Almost certainly not. It's going to be sort of saving fuel, isn't it? That's going to
Yeah.
be the way to do it. Yeah, it's
He's
not
got
about
the
safety.
grill on
I
the
love that
back,
it's got
flipping
extra
him
frames
over.
on the sponsons just in case there's anything nearby enough that didn't get burned by the big cannon.
That's where they
This
hold the
huge
Space Marine
Infernus
seed.
cannon, that it's carrying is
The
this
Gene
Hellstorm
seed
template, that
tanker.
gigantic. Remember the old Apocalypse template?
The
That
honey
thing is-
pot.
It's like 18 inches long, and it's strength 8. This flamer, so yeah, it just burns infantry alive. Don't get near
It's
it.
not actually a
Up
flamer,
next,
it's
we've
just a
also got the
hose.
Doridio Dreadnought. This is the Boreas configuration.
And then this dude, I don't like his
Team
chassis.
guns
He
than
looks
any other
weird.
Dreadnought has been before.
That's it. So basically, the Doridio is a stable firing platform.
He looks like a dude who weighed 500 pounds when he was 50, and now he's 90. And so he's just kind of sunk into himself. I appreciate the big gun weapons, though.
It was developed around the same time as the Contemptors.
Like
which
Mr.
is
Clouseau
features.
from The Life of
Early on
Brian.
in the Heresy, it was, not necessarily in great use, but when you're facing Legiones Astartes and you need to bring as much firepower as possible, it became very popular.
It's just a wonderful looking kit. It's so unsubtle. Yeah, it's got guns and really big ones too. The Boreas configuration
Dorito
has the
Boat
air defense
Dread,
missiles
okay.
On top, it can carry 4 of them. They have the Skyfire rule that just shoots things out of the sky. It can also have the choice of carrying the Volkite.
I like
Falconers,
the-
which have the deflagrate.
What are
rule,
those?
the Arrakis heavy
Maybe
mass cannon
medium
battery,
range
which
missiles,
just blows tanks away.
short range.
So really, really big guns on a really
Depending on
tough,
their-
toughness 7, 2+ save walking
I
platform.
don't know how big this guy's
Which is
supposed to
great.
be,
And really
actually.
great. Get one of those in your force,
Comes alongside 2 weapons kits.
of course.
So if you've already got
I like the
a
gun arms, though. Those are
to,
cool.
upgrade it to the Boreas configuration, there's a kit for that. And if you've got one of these and you want to convert it back, there's another one.
That's great. That means you can have real versatility in your modeling kits, and you
Yes.
can really take to battle the one you want to use. That's fantastic. Right.
It's like the Games Workshop version of a Timberwolf, right? You're going to have to help me out here. Is this new? I thought they had this already. Is this a new Cruel Boy Foot Hero Man, or did they have this already? Because if I could think of anything that Cruel Boys needs, it's definitely more heroes. L. The Bigfoot? Hold up. did it. The Foot of Gork. The Foot of Gork. Ah. Foot Gaming. For free? Not for free. This is Games Workshop. That shit's probably $90. I think I saw a terrain feature for Ironjaws as well. Alright, so these are manifestations. Scaregrot Totem. Ironjaw's Big Mob Spearhead. Alright, we got the Spearhead at last. What a terrible cover. How are we going backwards? It looks so bad. Hey, who cares? It doesn't matter. 100% of players will simply make a casting of their own feat. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, Andrew Yells did that back in the day. He made a cast of his real foot and then made a Foot of Gork out of it. Huge. All right, show me.
The Orruk War Clans are here for the Mortal Realms. The brand new battle tome, cool new models, and lots of
The
other
Grippers of
content as
Gork.
well, what's nice here is the rules team have taken the chance to separate the factions out. So in that book, the Cruel Boys and the Ironjaws are two separate factions, essentially two different armies.
Inside that one book, they're separate. So in the singular book, in the one book, right? Like everywhere else in the game, you got one book per army, right? But in this book, there's two separate armies in the one book. They went and separated them in the one book.
That share a couple of things in common.
Two armies, one
as
book
well, which is
policy.
nice. And up first, part of that is this new boss towers. We can see here as well. This is the new faction.
Surely that team had double the people working on it, right? You know. Are these terrain features? Or is this just like terrain for a Warcry or something? We got the scary face and the iron face.
Terrain for the Orruks is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's very cool. So this is the Scare Gob Totem. So this is the Cruel Boys version of this, whereby they'll
It's on a base, so
put these up around their territories to indicate, this is mine, not yours. They have a habit of sort of whispering, because it's not just a little watchtower. This is wrapped up in the winds of magic, and say an enemy army is approaching.
all right, the scare totem. I think it could have looked cooler. I don't know. I wanted more.
The mists will start up. They might get lost in the fog. Or
It's fine.
put a boss up there
You
to
can.
amplify everything.
You can put a boss up in both of these towers, but they become a shouty boss. And they have various rules that go alongside them. Let's have a look at the Ironjaws version. This is the Boss Rock Tower.
Yeah, I don't like this one either. I think this one is
Situation.
perhaps even a little
Tower
worse.
Here, but a bit less subtle, perhaps.
I mean, the jaw is cool. I like the jaw. This thing is kind of... I suppose it's real cartoony, but then again, Iron Jaws are the more cartoony of the two orcs, right? The skull looks like a power-up from Crash Bandicoot, you know? Yeah, I sleep on these. I don't know, maybe I don't know what people have thought of them. I
Yes,
sleep on
whereby
these.
The Cruel Boys might have, a bit of thought, a bit of planning, because they're the Morky element. The Ironjaws are the Gorky element, and this is where basically the War Chanter has found a rock he really likes, or it's saturated in war energy. And rather than be a watchtower necessarily, the boss can go up here.
Plenty of ample opportunity for glinting trophies from armies who beat to the totem. Yeah, I suppose they're a fixer-upper, right? Yeah, add to it yourself, I guess.
Which is really nice as well. So faction train coming with the Orruks very soon. That's really cool. Also, we have the new manifestations here as well. These are the endless spells used by the Orruk Warclans, both the Cruel Boys.
All right, you got the Slorp, Cug Face, copy and pasted the top of the Wargog guy, and then the Foot of Gork.
and the Iron Jaws wizards can use these. And of course, on the right-hand side, it's the Foot of Gork, a famous and beloved spell from the...
Oh, you have... Okay, so this is when it comes crashing down, and this is when it is lifted up so that it can later come crashing down. Which means that because it has the empty one and this one, it means the rules text for this endless spell is going to be 17 paragraphs long and suck. Like every other turn, it's either going to be there or not there or something like that. Anyway, it's cool that they made a Foot of Gork, though.
Background of Warhammer here, and that literally stomps around the enemy army, causing devastation, which is great. The Gork Roarer there, it's got the skull with the mists coming out of it, conjured by wizards to aid them in their magical spells, but at potential risk. Their head could explode if they imbibe too much of this, the magical
The
smoke.
footprint of Gork, yeah.
The Mork Spit Marsh is the last one here.
The Mork Spit Marsh. What did I call this thing? The Slorp. You know, I actually like this symbol here. This symbol is a good bit. I would take this and put it on like a boss pole or something for one of your normal orcs. Like that's a good bit. You could use that.
Job, King.
Rotmare Rob, hey, thanks for the tier 2, 44 months. An alliteration number. Blissed out in the slorp. Hey, moisturized, right? In his element. Just chilling.
And this transforms the land into a squelching swamp, which if enemy units go anywhere near or, heaven forbid, through, they could be in real trouble. So that's really nice to see new sort of manifestations for the faction. Of course, we've also got the new spearhead coming for the Iron Jaws as well.
Yeah, finally they get their spearhead.
There it is.
Nice.
Every time I run an event, someone asks when this one's coming along.
Yes.
And it's right now, a bunch of Iron Jaws there, led by a mega boss. You've
The
got 2
boys.
units of...
Dude, still. Ard boys still look sick. The new car smell has worn off, and I still like the new Ard boys a lot. I just think they're great. Anyway, I just thought I would say that.
Our boys 5 apiece, a unit of 3 brute rages and 5 brutes for a seriously hitty spearhead.
That's it. You've got 4 units of infantry, so they've got to take a long
Big.
time to get across the
Yeah,
table.
they really are. Well,
Man, they look like they're so durable.
Lets them move in any hero phase. So
They actually look ridiculously durable, don't
So a
they?
game of Spearhead lets them be quite maneuverable.
Good job at
Bonus, but
showcasing
they
that.
about objectives when it comes to a game of Spearhead.
They
Of
look
course, don't
sick.
forget the old Spearhead is still legal to use. There'll be a Crawl Boys one there. The Fire and J book still has those in, so you can still use that. There's another new miniature coming here, Alex, the Hobgrot Slitter Boss.
Yes.
What a cool model, this guy. Tell me about that sword. Why is it dripping in whatever that looks like?
So these guys basically lead the Hobgrot companies, and so they get the best gubbins, the best weapons. The
2 out of
best
10 is the
scrap,
best I can do.
They'll tend to grab the biggest weapon because obviously that means you're the best, and they'll slather it in various toxins and stuff,
Nice.
just to guarantee that they win.
This has got a really nice rule that ties in with that called Toxic Stash, where once per battle it's got a chance of outright killing an enemy hero on a lucky dice roll, which is really cool.
Will that pose get okayed? I mean, he's Triangle Man. I don't know.
Battle Tome, of course, which has everything you've come to expect from a
Boo.
Battle Tome.
Boo earns.
History of the factions.
Man, that
factions,
cover
battles,
ain't good.
Lots of information on the battle traits, formations, that sort of thing. All the
He's the fucking hold the fuck up, like, big body, tiny head meme. If you make his head smaller, I'm doing this, all right? I'm going to go on Blue Sky. I'm going to make a fucking Photoshop of this dude with a really tiny version of his head. Guaranteed replies.
Glory rules are in there too, and split between Iron Jaws and Crawl Boys, so you can choose which way you want to go. And there's some really nice bits in here as well. One of the armies of renown is the Big War. Previously,
Yo, this is fine, right? This art, it's all right. This could be a loading screen for like an MMO, maybe, you know? Just have half of it be the sketch version and it dissolves into it. This is all right.
all your orcs together.
Yeah.
Now you can with that
Something's at
army
least
renown,
fucking happening in
you
this
can
one.
Use all of those together, but has specific battle traits, specific enhancements, that sort of thing there as well. And my favourite regiment of renown is called the Hurtling Hogs.
Bring all the swine.
All the swine. Have more grunters in any of the destruction armies as well, which is just really good fun.
That's great.
So there we go. That is the new Orruk Warclans coming very soon. And of course, we've got something else coming now as well. This is
So new model count, 1 foot hero. Did I miss anything? Well, no, okay. Technically, terrain and endless spells are technically models, so maybe I can't quibble about it.
the new Path to Glory book, Alex.
Indeed. So this is Ravaged Coast, and we've previously fought in Hellcrown along the Ravaged Coast, which is basically that region in between.
How did they
North
lose their
and
way in
West
the art
Duchy.
department for the
We've been
covers?
Fighting in Emberguard, and we're right here in Hell's Claw, slap bang in the centre there.
Congratulations, kid, you made it to the big time.
Previously Cornate, then Sigmarite, and now, up for grabs. And all for
Hell's Claw, ruined, parenthetical. We've come to the part of the show I like to call pausing on an Age of Sigmar map and just reading the names of the places and laughing at them. Ahem. Vostargimont, the Grimehold, Hellcrown, Tortilla Crumble, Verminfont, probably Calibri Body, HeyWoah, Deep Sneed, Veilt, Molder Port, Ravaged Coast, parenthetical, ravaged, Hell's Claw, parenthetical, ruined, Castbridge, Hellbridge, a subsidiary of Hellcrown, Snow Peaks. It should be noted that above Snow Peaks there is a picture of a volcano. Chakrick's Folly, Emberguard, parenthetical, ruined, Gates Below. I'm going to assume that these are gates above it. Skull Pile 1L, Fart Blood Sea, the Emberguard Incursions, Swelter Gulf, and Dag S. All right. Oh, pardon me. D-Row and Onyx Gate. Maybe Snow Peaks is like Iceland, It's the old Iceland and Greenland kind of thing. Swelter Gulf is just Houston. Yeah, there you go. Man, I remember the Swelter Gulf War. Those Abrams tanks, man. Ember Hard, Mind Break. Is this a new land cycle? These enter tapped?
all factions are basically trying to
Anyway, moving on.
Take the Emberstone and control this very important territory.
Path of Glory, of course, is a way of playing narrative games where
They're just like yelling at each other. This is like a dance-off.
you follow your heroes through a path that go on quests.
TJ Salt,
all
sure.
written into this book. It's a very different and fun way of playing Warhammer Age of Sigmar if you're just used to playing match play. Highly recommended. And this book is chock full of background and bits and pieces for you to play your games at home as well. The Anvil of Apotheosis is in there as well. Lets you.
I'm here to tell you about how good Age of Sigmar is, okay? And whenever I see a map with place names, it makes me feel like I'm holding the heavier part, right? Like, can you guys throw me a fucking bone here? Look at a map of Gur and you see like Cum Gulch or whatever. It's like, can you guys spend more than like 1 second off the top of your head coming up with place names, please.
Create your own heroes, and the book actually contains some examples of converted heroes that people have done too, which is really nice to see.
Hellstrom
As well.
Mountains,
It's a nice different
1L.
game. Now, we've seen the Warhammer 40,000 getting their Grotmas calendar earlier on. Warhammer
Rat
85 fans will have a
Peak.
similar sort of thing too, as they are beginning getting some holiday downloads too. There's 8 regiments of renown on the way. Again, these will be
The Tunnels of
these
Scryer,
returns,
parenthetical,
2
rats.
Grand Alliance, which is nice. And a regiment of renown is a really nice way of adding other models from different factions into your army.
Yeah,
It's
adds
really-
a different flavour.
it's a good excuse to paint some cool models. Really.
The Great
So
Parch.
it's come in
Dude,
for
that shit
Grotmas,
was so
for
funny.
Age of Sigmar, which is cool. But that's not all for the Mortal Realms.
Nope.
We've got even more coming.
The Load Sea. Hold on, it seems like we might be getting another Age of Sigmar model. I'm excited. I was hoping that wouldn't be it. A savage swarm of Gitz. I'm simultaneously upset and cool. All right. Why are they riding wolves when they got squigs to ride? That's like the point. I mean, all right. They look very good. Spiders are dead. Spiders are out. Look at this dude. Well, I mean, you heard the man. Bulk up your mob. All right. I get those emails all the time. This mob is bulked up. Damn, all this shit looks so cool, doesn't it? These sculpts are great. You got some Mononoke looking ass big wolf here. Nice dual wielder. He's got the swirly whirly behind him, like the bad moon that would come crashing down. All this shit looks great. Like Spider Fang on Suicide Watch, though. Do you even lift Git, bro? Yeah, these look wonderful. Come gets some.
Yes, well, we've
Some gets come.
seen the Orruk
do,
war plans, but now
do.
their shorter, meaner-spirited cousins are on the way.
They look very
This is
Cruel
the
Boysian,
Spike
don't
Gitz
they?
Coming to the Mortal Realms.
They got that look to
Leading
them.
the way are the Git mobs, who are these.
Oh, this is the Git mob. Okay. So we're bringing in a 7th faction into the Gits. Sure, the book isn't busy enough. They look great,
riding
don't
giant
they?
Wolves. Alex, who are these guys?
That's pretty much it. So previously we've been all about the moon clans, but now the Git mobs are getting their time in the sun. No pun intended. And basically they hate Glareface Frazzle Git. So this is the lighter fish. Hish and Orgu basically provide the night and day cycle in the realms. However, the lighter fish hurts their beady little
Final
legs.
Fantasy
So
reminiscent
they decide
artwork here.
that they're going to take it down. And so these guys wear loads
Hish
of
and
shiny
Orgu.
weapons and armor, and that absorbs the lighter fish, hopefully weakening their mortal enemy.
They also use it as a weapon as well, don't they, to
Yes.
against their foes. We'll see that in a second. Some wonderful miniatures on the way. I wanted to just re-emphasize, by the way, that
When are we
Moon
getting
Clans
a
are
Git
still
mob
good.
version of
Still
Sashomaru?
good to you, so don't worry, Moon Clan
Am I
fans, it's
right,
still involved.
gamers?
But the Git mob stuff. Let's have a look at some of the new models coming in this army set. Now, these are the Snarl Pack Cavalry.
All right, these look great. These are wonderful. I like it. Yeah. Look at this dude, actually. Nice collar. It looks like a meteor or the moon come crashing down. Good face. Nice, real gnarly kind of, like it's not obsidian, but it looks like a stone. Looks like a stone axe, even though it's metal, just because of the edge on it, you know. They got some fun hats to them with the little tails. This dude, Mr. Ninja over here. I look at this and I almost think like the wolves are both in charge and smarter than the Gitz. Just from aesthetics. And maybe that, if that's true, then I think they did a great job showing that. Boggle reminds you of Sushomarin's little buddy. Oh, true, Jakin, yeah. Maybe they'll do something with the Bad Moon rule worth a damn. You mean like throw it in the garbage and rewrite it? The lore behind the leader is cool. Everyone thinks he's immortal, but he actually dies constantly and is continuously replaced by the wolf, who is actually immortal. Cool. That's fun. That's fun.
We've seen the Snarlpack Riders before.
Yes.
The Snarlfang Riders, sorry, which are the sort of the cavalry. But
Cool.
these
Good
these
shields,
bigger
too.
Snarlwolves, with 2 grots on the back.
Bucklers, essentially.
Tell me about these guys.
So these are larger Snarlfangs, as you said, and basically the 2 grots on the back have to raise the pup from birth in order to ride it. And this is one of those rare times whereby grots have to work together, because if they don't, chances are they're going to get eaten, or the boss is going to remove them from play.
How many
Dread
failed
pirate
teams
Git
have
Bert.
in the past?
We
Too
don't,
many
we don't keep count.
I love the fact these mods are covered in spears and spiky bits all over them. It's just really, really
Nice
great
collar.
miniatures, for them to charge into combat. Their frazzle burn scrap rule sees them strike first if they charged, as they glare their enemies out with it, dazzle them with the light that they've stored.
That's it.
Cool.
You'll notice that as a running theme, particularly with the shields, that they
The
absorb the light of
dudes.
Hish, and as they impact into combat, they
Who are these? Who are the 2 geniuses from Redline? Anyone remember anime from 10 years ago? It was like Flea Man and something. I can't remember the 2. The 2 idiots. I cannot remember them. Oh well.
basically
It'll come to me.
discharge it and blind the enemy.
As talking of absorbing light and stealing it, this is the Sun Stealer Wheeler. This
The
is
Sun
lightweight
Stealer
character
Wheeler.
built for speed and pulled by the Snarl.
The King Keeler.
Oh, they're not just built of normal wood, though.
No, so these things are made out of wicker, and as you said, these are supposed to.
They're actually wicker. These things are made out of
They're
matchsticks.
leverages
They
that
will.
glare-face
They
frozen
will
gets,
burn.
Will, discharge that light, and you've got a very flammable chariot there. So eventually, these things burn up.
They really didn't think about it, did they?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, isn't this fun? Look at how cartoony this is. Doesn't this remind you a little bit of Rat Fink? If you, anybody over 50 in here? Anyway, I think it really does. I think they went for as much of a dragster kind of
Just a wonderful little kit. And
shit-ass
these
chariot that they
these things
could.
Have got a careening disruptor.
Rat Fink in
Which is important
2024.
as a
I think it
mono
does a
unit
little
in the
bit.
battlefield, which is quite good fun, isn't it? But
I think it was on purpose. I'm going to pretend that it was on purpose. Ah, yes, fellow kids.
at the army set we've seen there. This miniature is Drogs the Sun Chomper. Looks like a big leader for the Git mobs.
Look at this dude. The yowls on this man. Oh, and he's got a meteor pick. Oh, a war pick. A spoike. Like shield. This is the last guy. I really like this wheel behind him. I like this thing. Very Okami, looking, I guess. Dark Okami.
Who is this guy, Alex?
Indeed. So this guy basically led the Git mobs from Hish.
I think it's
to
meant to
retreat during the
be
Age of Chaos. Now, as you can probably
the
think,
meteor
that
or
was
the
700 years
bad
ago.
moon or the sun or
That is pretty
something.
old for a
Or not
grot.
the sun, I mean like
The reality is, he's not very old for a grot. When the first Drogs got hit by an arrow, his Snarlfang there ran up to the second in command and went, "Go on," and jumped on, and there was a new Drogs. And there has basically been a continuation of various grots that have taken on the role of Drogs throughout history.
So his Mount Jagged Snarl.
What a fun shield. Look at how fun this is. The funny little face. Almost a roulette wheel kind of thing here. I like the Little doohickeys. This is a good shield. Overall, I really like all this stuff. Even the helm with the wolf tail on top of it. I really like the aesthetic they went for here. I feel bad for the Spider Bros and the Squiggos and everything. But this is excellent looking.
He's actually the one that's been keeping things
so
together
he
all
was
that
born
time.
in Hish under the light.
Yeah.
He's really intelligent. And
It is weird to add like a 19th different faction to shove into one Git book of just random
onto the
shit.
battle, you can use the time to Scarpa rule, where we
Look at this dude. Good art. This is looking good. Good work.
nearby friendly units can run away from combat they are already in, which is nice. Really love this miniature. A really cool background for this one as well. And it's maybe not quite as heroic as the miniature would seem,
Yeah, well,
which I like.
You'll notice something in the background of this artwork here.
Oh, you're absolutely...
Whoa. Whoa. What's this? What are these? What's this?
You're right, flying up in the sky. Look at this. It's the new Gitz Doom Diver catapult. A wonderful recreation.
The
of
Doom
classic-
Diver catapult? It's back? Where they whip their own dudes. Let's go. Nice horns here too. Oh, he's psyching himself up. He's getting ready.
Games Workshop miniature, the Doom Diver here. We've seen it in Warhammer. For
The
30
dude
years.
flinger.
Here it is with these wonderful interpretation, huge as well.
It's
Alex,
back.
why on earth would a grot put on wings and
Well,
get inside this thing?
For a grot to volunteer to be part of the Doom Diver group,
They
then
got
we've
the
to put a lot
the
of,
straightforward view to it.
a lot of emphasis on the word volunteer there.
Yep, for
Rarely
sure.
does that occur.
Yep.
So basically, he straps on wings, he puts on a metal helmet that again has absorbed the light of Hish, so upon impact, it explodes.
That's devastating. I love the fact there's a little tiny snotling at the back on the
There
mechanism.
is. So the mechanism is so unreliable that the only one that's allowed to use it is a snotling. They're the most expendable of grots.
I love it. The actual damage it does on the battlefield represents how big this miniature is. It's monstrous shooting attack. It does 4 attacks, rend 3, damage 3. But actually, what's nice is you can re-roll the hits representing the Doom Divers trying to sort of use their wings to careen into the action. And every
That
time
makes
you use a
sense.
re-roll,
Good work,
it
yeah.
uses some rend there. So it's just a really nice little narrative piece and a wonderful miniature. A great centerpiece for your Gitmob's army. Let's have a look at some heroes.
It's weird because these are the least silly grots or Gitz we've seen so far, and they have the most silly artillery. Cool.
On some chariots. This is the Snarl boss on a war.
And then they have this
Some
shit.
Snarl bosses
I don't like
prefer riding
chariots, though, so that's
ostentatious
like my own
weapons
problem.
rather than riding a Snarl Fang.
So the Snarl boss basically
The
has to
greased up
spot
runway.
one of these alpha Snarl fangs, and if you've managed to get 2, you can get yourself a war wheeler. They tend to have the best gubbins, the shiniest things, and as you can see, his belly is looking rather large.
Yeah, it's a really nice little nod to some classic Warhammer,
Or rather large.
isn't it? So you've got quite the paunch on in there, hasn't he? Bless him. Oh, it's a lovely miniature. And up next, we've got the other hero that's also part of the same kit. This is the Frazzle Git Shaman.
Frazzle Git Shaman. I actually like this guy. The boss pole here, this is kind of sick. Morning Star, I guess you could call it. You got Skull Boy here, a little totem pole action. Nice hat.
Sit there on top of a giant skull. Why is he so high up, Alex?
Chariot
Frazzle
parenthetical
Shaman, as you
good.
can imagine, are obsessed with absorbing the light of Hish, and he's hoping that by being 7 or 8 feet extra in the air, he might get a little bit of juice. But
You might get some juice.
That's debatable. However, being up there, it gives him a really good line of sight. He can see over the mists. He can see all the enemies. So it does help him in the end.
He's got to fall off quite regularly, though, surely. That doesn't look very stable. What a wonderful, wonderful piece. Now, there will be a Gloomspike Git spearhead on the way, a very Snarlfang themed wolf
Okay.
spearhead. It's not going to be released for a little while yet, so hold on for that one, folks. But just know it is on.
When even they say it's not going to be available for a little while yet, just forget the spearhead exists, and you'll be reminded.
the way. But don't forget your current Moon Clan spearhead with all those horrible rock troglodytes. I've killed them once. I did that. I did it once. That's still legal to use in your game. No problems at all. Let's
No
have a look
problems
at
at all.
Battle Tome as well. The last thing we're going to talk about here, the whole new book, everything you want to expect from a Battle Tome.
Oh, yes.
in the Mortal Realms, pack full of lore, who the Git mobs are, covers
Lore.
the battle formations for the Gloomspite Gits, the Git mob. There's something called a Squigalanch in there, which is great, and a
I haven't seen this way of painting them before. This is fun. The Squigalanch. Git's shaping up to have pretty impressive sculpts, you know?
Frog herd. Yeah, I just haven't
If you ignore Spiderfang.
That sounds fun.
Which you
Painted
should be
guides,
doing
painted,
anyway.
Loads of rules for all the units.
No
And
offense.
your Path to Glory rules let you raise a Grot or Troggoth hero through the ranks of the Path to Glory, which is just great.
That's very cool.
Really, really cool. It's time to move from one book to another, as we've got some stuff coming from the Black Library.
We do indeed.
Some stuff coming for the what? Adorn your bookshelf with stuff. I will not. Outer dark. Yeah, all right.
So there we go. It's the Black Library celebration. Of course, happens every year, but this year's a little special, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're getting an entire week rather than, you know, a day or a weekend.
I
So we've got a
don't
huge range of
care.
books coming. As part of that, we've got Imperial
Coming for the Black Library celebration, but we'll reveal those on the Warhammer community website at some point soon, for sure. There we go. That's been a wonderful preview. We've seen some really cool stuff there.
A wonderful preview.
We've seen Old World. We've seen Death.
Yeah, I
Call,
remember
we've seen
seeing that
Gitz,
a little
Horus
while
Heresy,
ago.
We've seen the Age of Sigmar stuff, of course, both the war plans and the Gloomspite Gitz. Had a sneak peek at what's coming over the Grotmas calendar.
Oh, yes.
Now, normally that would be enough for a preview,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
that's a lot.
No.
It's quite a bit, but it's Christmas. We're feeling quite.
Oh, it's
generous.
Christmas. So how about those
Some
new
stuff.
ogres that aren't fine cat? No, okay. Never mind. Somebody probably would have DM'd me about it if that had happened. Let's be honest. I would have found out. 40k. Swooping. These hawks are swooping. I don't think I like the look of them. Once they ruled the stars, now they're weird-looking cone-head things. Is this the Superman music? It's very almost the Superman trailer music. Never forget your destiny. Superman. With great abs comes great responsibility. The world has changed. Wow.
From the webway, the Eldari have returned.
Here they are. We've been sneaking and teasing about them. We've mentioned a few things.
Yeah, and we've seen that for
Eldari.
But finally, the entire Eldari are here. And I tell you what, Alex, there is a war host's worth. of
Hey, I'll
legends
tell you
coming
what.
Our way. Let's take me and those watching. Who is Swagan? Why is he a big deal?
So he's one of the
I think yeah, he looks all right. I don't know that I don't even mind the big flat helm thing. I don't like the cone head. This looks like the logo for a local Warhammer tournament. Like it should say 2025 underneath it.
Phoenix Lords. These guys were basically the original exarchs of the Aspect
Big
Warriors.
gun.
And every time they die,
I think this guy's all right.
takes the armor and basically takes the place.
And I usually don't like
So it's
Eldari
the
stuff.
spirit of all these warriors, all this experience, and Fuegan the Burning Lance, he basically embodies the act of oblivion that could bring peace, because they all embody a different aspect of Calum and Shakain, the god of war.
So he's like, when he's playing 40k, Quager's like, if I kill the entire enemy army, there's no more conflict anymore.
Yeah, there's peace.
Great.
Shut up.
Leads the Fire Dragons.
Indeed.
Another.
This is going up your ass. Ah. This is a terrible scheme. Yellow and orange, huh? Yeesh.
New plastic.
Don't
kit.
care for it.
So these
And
guys
let me
they
point.
embody that idea of destruction.
Yeah. Means these guys have a similar.
Their guns look
short
really
destruction. They can
dumb.
reroll everything.
Really high up. And so
Don't
you're
like
looking
the
up,
flappy
there's
guys
this
that
tiny
much.
silhouette above you that strikes down.
I don't think I like their guns, really.
Baharoth was the first to be.
Don't like the beak, but then again, I don't like birds, so that's, I don't care for it.
Which is lovely. Just a beautiful miniature and wonderful on table as well. It's worth mentioning that all these Phoenix Lords are both devastating in shooting and combat. While you might think this guy's specialised in... No, they're all just good at everything. But then they're Eldari, right? You mentioned him before. Let's have a look at this. This is Azaman, the Phoenix Lord of the Dire Avengers, and what a miniature that is.
He is absolutely brilliant.
Okay. I don't know if the face is working for me. Yeah, he's all right.
He just cut Terminators in half with a single sweep.
Maybe I just don't like Conehead stuff. Yeah, he does look like Buckethead. You're exactly right, Jacoby. He looks like Buckethead. I was trying to put it together. Man, I bet this guy could play the guitar like nobody's fucking business. Oh my days, switch hats? Sure, I'll get right on it. Why don't you like birds? They're loud and they make horrible, shrieking noises. Loud. Don't like it. And people keep them as pets, and I don't think they should. Smell terrible. Take a creature that can fly, put it in a prison. Loud noises. Yeah, don't like any of that stuff. Chickens taste pretty good, though, and eggs are delicious. So that part's cool.
And fair.
I like a bird inversely proportional to how loud it
And a
is.
great model on the table, and another sculpted back banner, which I'm here
Except for bald eagles. Those are
Coming
great.
Alongside these releases is the new Eldari Codex as well, and it's a bit of an overhaul for the Eldari.
Because of America.
We're expecting new rules and attachments as we were before.
But they make noise too, and I wish they wouldn't.
In the book there. But there's a couple of things that's worth pointing out here. First of all, the Strands of Fate rule they have.
What do you think of penguins? I think they look funny. They do make noise, which is a downside, but they don't make the worst noise. But whenever I see a penguin, it makes me sad. Because, and this is true, you can look it up, there used to be giant penguins in the real world, 5-6 feet tall, huge. But early explorers just killed them all. Can you imagine a 6 foot tall penguin? That'd be so sick. Anyway, makes me sad thinking about it.
Before has been replaced with a rule called Battle Focus. Strands of Fate let you use those dice to predict the future, as a Farseer might do. But Battle Focus instead teaches your force to move more agile.
Aren't the penguins we have today not really penguins? It's just the name we gave them. Is this like a philosophical comment about the nature of language? Isn't that not really red? It's just the word we use to describe.
With more agility around the table.
Oh, okay, the species. Okay, I thought this was I thought this is one of those deepities, like, why is anything, man? No, okay, all right. I don't know. I would have to look into it.
being super flexible and super fast, which is nice. Don't worry though, Strands of Fate is still around, but only in
What about the Penguin?
detachments, the Seer Council detachment, and it's changed a little bit. Now, talking of detachments, there are 7 in this.
Wasn't
book,
that
which is
Danny
really
DeVito?
cool. Going from the War Host, the Wind Rider Host. If you want an army of
That guy's
Raiders, it's
funny.
there for you. If you want an army of Harlequins, they're in the book as well, which is nice to see. And the really one that I wanted to point out here is the Devoted of Your Need, the Yanari units, because the Harlequins.
All right, I actually don't care. That gun looks stupid. You have 4 arms, that's cool. This dude. Okay, this is perfectly what it should be looking like to appeal to, like, a 14-year-old in 1995 would look at this and be like, that's so sick. That's rad. And that's exactly the type of response and target audience they should be going for on this one. So good work. It's a cool looking Eldari guy. He's in the Spider-Man pose. There's even a spider web down here, kind of. Nice poof. He's got the looking kind of like 4-armed, well, 6-armed shredder, I guess. TMNT.
Of
Yeah, this one's cool.
Absolutely monster in the preview. That's fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for what.
Oh, you're welcome. Man whose name I forgot because I'm bad with names. Anyway, hey, all right. That's the preview. What did I miss? I guess the Gitmob Grots look really good. Their sculpts are excellent. I rather like the aesthetic. They don't look anime, but okay, they don't look anime and they don't look Japanese. But the lore that they evoke to me is reminiscent of that. Not artistically, but the vibe, I guess. I don't know if I'm making sense here. But anyway, I like them. And they brought back the silliest shit, which is the Doom Diver catapult. And, you know, we do need some really stupid crap every once in a while to let people know that they can't take this seriously. And so that's a good reminder. I'm sorry about Spider Fang Grots, you guys. I don't know. Yeesh, right? But hey, all right. You just looked into the giant penguins. They were dead well before people hit the scene. You know, that makes me feel better, GD Panda. I thought we killed them off. But if they were extinct well before people, then I'm at peace. You know? That's the idea. A lot of Eldari stuff is based off Asian culture. I was talking about the Gitmob Grots. Which might have been confusing because we just looked at Eldari stuff. Spiders are still in. Yeah, they're still in. It's just I was expecting like a Spider Fang refresh, you know? Because they're almost extinct and ancient and kind of withering before our eyes. And instead we got brand new other shit, right? Like just something else, which feels bad for them, right? Is what I mean. You were excited to see a picture of an absolute unit of a penguin? Yeah. Being crazy extinct animals, have you heard of those crocodiles with long legs that are believed to have galloped? No. No, and usually I'm pretty decent with random bio trivia. I haven't. I'll look into it. Caprosuchus. That's pretty close to the name of the giant crocodile thing that my Rifts party had to fight 2 adventures ago and no one could pronounce. And when I was making the video for it, I had to cut out like literally 11 minutes of dialogue because none of us could pronounce that fucking word. And I still can't. I almost tried just now, but I held back. And my restraint was well deserved because I wouldn't have said it right. It ends in a similar manner as that word, though. Yeah, Todd McFarlane's Wet Dreams. I didn't see that on YouTube, but that was a good comment from back when we were looking at the other guy. Anyway, good shit. Gitz look good. Really good sculpts. Actually, I have very few complaints. I guess I don't like chariots. I think chariots are stupid and you made chariots, but they look good, so fuck it, right? Like, a lot of people like chariots. Anyway, good work. Can't wait for the Ogre update. I sure hope we get one. Ever. Regal Eagle. Thanks for the big prime for 4 months. What AoS unit should really go extinct next? Unit? Extinct means dead and not coming back as like a refresh or a reimagining or something. I don't really think you should retire model lines at this point in the game. I don't think you should do that at all. Financially, I suppose maybe they have to if something is just not selling at all, right? But that being said, Spiderfang. But HeyWoah, the Ale Guzzler. Ale Guzzler needs a new version, like an upgraded sculpt that looks good instead of bad. I wouldn't like flush it. We just need Man Crusher Gargants that don't look stupid, right? I don't consider that an extinction. An extinction is it's just fucking gone with no replacement, you know. So I don't know, maybe Spiderfang. Because that one is like, it would affect the least amount of people. But I don't know. I feel like, man, it's 4th edition. You got to stop dropping armies out of the game. Figure something out. People bought into those things. It's kind of bad to do to your customers, I think. Now, if literally no one's buying it and it's just a straight loss, right? Then I guess fair enough that it is a business, but yeah. Reasonable measured answer also, but these guys are awful. Yeah, well that's the fun. You've detected my trick. You do the reasonable, okay, this is what should happen, and then you hit them with a joke, right? We gotta maybe it's not tonally consistent, but sometimes it's interesting. IDK Wave 2 someday. Good pun. Rifts, you love Rifts? Yeah, I used to run a Rifts game every other Thursday. And then all of my players and me had schedule conflicts for the last month entirely. But it will be returning. So if you like Rifts, after Thanksgiving, I think it's coming back. Thursdays. And at this point, I'm going to have to write a story so far, and it can't fit in the limerick format. To remind both the audience and perhaps even the players what the fuck has even happened leading up till now. But that should be fun to write. The whole corporate infighting not allowing range crossover is the problem. That is one problem. It's actually a bafflingly amateurish, embarrassing problem to have. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Cutting off your nose to spite your face, really. Next edition Orc Warclans is just in the Gloom book. And yeah, every army will have its own book, and then there'll be a book called Grand Alliance Destruction that just has all the destruction armies in it. Who gives a shit? They're all green, right? Anyway, I'm getting the drink. I will return and answer all the questions and talk about all the stuff. We still got stats, which I won't spend a huge amount of time on. And we got the video game awards. And also, Q&A. Get up, stretch your feet a little bit. Get yourself a drink. Someone asked for Switch hats a long time ago and a commercial a long time ago, so I'll hit you with those. Oh yeah, STD as well.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to
Cream.
Let's find out.
Let your fingers do the walking.
I'm Mr. Buckets. Toss your balls in my top. I'm Mr. Buckets.
What do you get when you press on a can of Noxema?
Great balls of comfort.
You get
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Oh, where have I heard that before?
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in.
I'm calling paramedics and your family, Mr. Miller.
You can make this creamy cheese sauce in seconds with American cheese and
Cream.
mushroom Lipton cup of soup. And you thought cup of soup just made soup.
Oh, yeah. Cream in the World Wrestling Federation. And there is
More real meat. You'll be glad we made him taste better. And so will he.
Yo. Hey, RN. Did we find the STDs? No, I didn't. I know Rob made a video about it, but I didn't have time to transcribe it. And I haven't found any PDFs floating around or imgers or anything like that. So I'm probably going to wait until I get those. It just wouldn't do to click through a video and find like that kind of stuff. I want to see like the whole deal and read the exact wording on everything, and we'll do a show about it. Surely by Friday we'll have that, right? Unless anybody here has it, and throw it in Giga and I can look over it. Like there's also, I mean, there's articles and stuff about it. I'm not trying to read an article. I'm not trying to watch a video. I want to like seize them. Yeah, I want to see the dark sorcery or whatever of everything. And hot off the presses. Also, like today, I don't really do tournament stats so much, but hey, here are the new ones. These are added to every GT and GT Plus event. There's a little note down here, 2,000 points. Data does not include mirror matches, obviously, because that would kind of muddy the water a little bit. And it's correct as of literally yesterday. Just got a new big one. If you'll note, something that I'm pleased to see and have been hoping would happen. Beasts of Chaos. 64% win. Quote unquote, best army in the game. Now, you will note that the number of games played is quite low compared to a lot of the other stuff up here, which means that of, a relatively small number of really high skill players are giving Beasts of Chaos a final hurrah and smashing people with them. And I couldn't be happier. If they're kicking you out of the game for a bullshit reason, you might as well destroy everyone for your last year alive. A final fight. I like it. Good. I hope it's 70% later. Night Haunt, after getting a bunch of big nerfs, is still chilling in the danger zone. Still amazing. Disciples of Tzeentch, very good. OBR creeping up as the edition moves forward. Very interesting. Technically in the red zone here. Yeah, BOZ did get some banger rules. That is true as well. It's not like the army's bad and people are just, whatever. Gitz kind of creeping up. 55%. The last destruction army we saw at exactly 55%, which is in the Goldilocks zone. Got nerfed so hard, they went here. At the very bottom with ogres. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen to Gloomspite Gitz. Ogre Maw Tribes was at 55% when they got balanced, and now they're here. So I hope the same thing doesn't happen to the next destruction army that is at 55%, which is Gloomspite Gitz at this moment. Sons of Behemoth kind of struggling as well. Ironjaws, Fire Slayers, Nurgle. Nurgle off of, a buff or two. A little adjustment. Unites the Slash, kinda, technically in the green zone, right? But, hey, alright. Bone Splitter's doing as well as they can. Exactly 50%. Perfectly balanced. With only 50 games played. Hey, alright. PC rules are actually fun. Have regular plays them as a last run. always have great games. That's good to hear. I think they should do that on purpose more often, you know? They're capable of it. I think they should, you know, do that kind of thing more often. Look at this Karadan Overlords. What a success story. 53%. KO really got their second wind recently. Apparently. Lunath Realm Lords all the way down to top 50%. Is there one OBR player out there locking down 400 matches? Perhaps. Very popular army, though. Look at that. 648. That's a lot of matches. What, second highest? Pardon me. Third highest? I was going to say Stormcast has to be the most. 934. Second place, though. Look at all these Gloomspite Gitz games. Tons of people are playing Gitz. And lots of people playing OBR. Top 3 most represented. Seraphon, 47, took a dip there. Seraphon was at exactly 50% since the start of 4th, and you're sad to see they finally lost that balance. We'll see what the future holds. Kick those elves to the bottom where they belong, says Tay Barracuda. Stephen Grimm, you've had zero motivation to play your ogres since the Glutton over nerf. Makes you sad. Yeah, it was a head scratcher. They don't have much to fall back on, right? Which was sort of the whole problem. It was like, Gluttons are too efficient. Yeah, probably. What are they going to do without them, though? Like nothing. Oh, okay. Hey, maybe the Battle Tome will fix it. I've said that 4 times now. I've said that for 10 years. Almost. Maybe next Battle Tome will fix it. Everything you've heard about OBR from HeyWoah to my friend who plays them has been positive. Yeah. Like, power level wise, they're just good. They're just a good army. I have a lot of complaints about OBR, but none of them have to do with, like, strength, I guess. I'm actually very annoyed with the slurp of, like, interesting, cool, like, a lot of OBR stuff shifted in a way that I don't much care for. I could complain about OBR rules a lot if you would let me, but they're doing well. Anyway, Daughters of Cain, chilling right in the middle. And you'll have to forgive me. I've been hearing this a lot over the years, and it's always been kind of a meme. Every time Marathi Cain goes up in points, right afterwards, a bunch of Daughters of Cain players will be like, you know, we don't even take Marathi anymore. She's too expensive, right? And then none of them do. And they all take her anyway and do great. But now, maybe it's finally true. She's finally so expensive that you might not play her. Now, I've heard that before, but maybe it's finally true. I'm not sure. Word on the street, I guess. It's all about the foot here right now. Yeah, the Crohn's Seekler. Yeah. Can you voice your complaints? You're debating starting OBR. You would like to hear both sides, positive and negative. I think they're boring. I think they're one of the most boring armies rules-wise. The rules are just extremely boring to me. And they're fundamentally the opposite of what they used to be in the following way. OBR were the ones who invented unit champions being able to issue commands. And they were the unit champion army. And then the whole game got unit champions. They were also the ones that invented the modern way of using command points. And the whole game got that. And now OBR is very much the you have to have a hero next to your squad to get the stuff. And so they did a switcheroo. It used to be your unit champion covered that, and you don't have to do the hero babysitter thing. And now everything is hero babysitter stuff, which to me is annoying. And there was so much flavor in their old rules, and everybody's rules are now less interesting, less flavorful, more generic, shorter, fewer of them, more boring. That's my main complaint with all of the battle tomes. Except for arguably maybe Skaven a little bit, maybe Slaves to Darkness a little bit, but of 4th edition. And OBR, in my opinion, was hit particularly hard with that, looking at Catacrosis War Scroll and a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, it's happened to everyone. OBR were the ones that, even among 4th edition armies, I felt the sting of losing the interesting stuff, losing a bunch of options, losing this, losing that, and just getting kind of spreading paste over a cracker. But they're good and they're still fun, and within the context of 4th, they're, it's fine. I just don't like the hero babysitter stuff. It used to be free of that. And they gave him a switcheroo. It's like the really fast, unspecific complaints with OBR. 0 out of 10, no monster trucks. Yeah, true. That being said, there's a bunch to be excited about and happy about. For instance, Vok Morshin, I think, is potentially playable now. Like, he seems good, and he used to be, like, awful. The catapults seem better than they used to be, which is cool. A lot of the stuff seems a little better than it used to be power-wise or use-wise. Blendermen got destroyed. I have no idea why their damage won. But I don't know. You can't have everything. Hey, all right. Do Glutton's arms fit well on spare body from the Flosh? So Ogre arms and legs and stuff are actually pretty interchangeable. Now, some of them are supposed to be sitting down and some are supposed to be standing up, and there is, you'll have to do some stuff. But for the most part, if you're a plastic ogre, you are actually pretty interchangeable depending on which one to which one. You're going to have to do some kit bashing and reposition this and slice off that and get some green stuff, but they're pretty decent. The Frostlord one has some stuff over his shoulders, so you can't do that. But then you get Beast Rider ones that'll work fine. The Mournfang ones and the Monster ones, those are pretty interchangeable. And all the walking ones are pretty interchangeable. From walking ones to the mounted ones, that's rougher, because half of them are supposed to be sitting down, But a lot of people have kit bashed their own butcher, because they aren't trying to pay that much for the Finecast one that looks like it does. It goes beyond I've seen more kit bashed butchers than I've seen real butchers. It goes well beyond that. I've seen like 3 real butchers ever. And every other ogre butcher I've ever seen has been kit bashed. It's almost ubiquitous. Hot take, you like the current butcher? That is a hot take. I won't touch it. It's a neutron star. Spinning back and forth. Hey. Hey, all right. Oh yeah, I got to vote in the video game awards too. It's like a big change of subject, but I like all things nerdy. Well, no, that's not true. I don't like all things nerdy. I like several nerdy things. I'm going to do a video game awards, and no man can stop me. You think the glutton musician head would make for a good butcher head? Oh, the guy like this who's the shouting. What were they called? The bellower, I think, or that? Yeah, I think it was a bellower. And he had extra jowls. Because there was the bellower, there was the flagpole guy, there's the bear trap guy. I like the bear trap guy. I saw somebody's conversion of ogres, and he had double bear trap, one on each hand, just straight forward like Frankenstein. It was so funny. The conversions people do for ogres are good shit. Anyway, big news. Yeah, Edward Bear Trap Hands, exactly. Game of the Year awards. Vote now on your phones. I'm going to be asking you guys some questions here, because I haven't played many of these, but I've seen them. The first vote is the big one. Yeah, Concord Sweep. Exactly. Concord Sweep under the rug, I guess. Astrobot. A fun game for children. Balatro. Northern Lion is single-handedly responsible for this game being on this list. Black Myth Wukong. High resolution. Not, I don't know. I don't like monkeys. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. This is a DLC, and there is a controversy here. And the controversy is it all right if a DLC is in the running for Game of the Year? You know? Like with a lot of people, that doesn't sit right. Like it's an expansion pack. Like it's a, you know, just some addition. Is that Game of the Year? Should that be, you know? I find myself very easily coming down on the side of, yeah, it's fine. For me. Thinking back, what I do, or how I got to my opinion, which is that it's fine to be on here, is, can you think of a DLC or expansion pack in all of video game history that could very well have won Game of the Year, like deserved, you know? And what I thought of immediately was Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction. Like, release Diablo 2 was good, but Lord of Destruction completed the game and made it really what it was. It added almost everything that gave it the longevity that it has. You know, rune words, talent tree synergies, bail runs, seasons, you know, all this stuff. So yeah, actually, D2LOD will say, sure, yeah, it's Game of the Year 99 or whenever it came out, 2000 for the DLC or the expansion pack. And because it's possible, then I think it's fine that Elden Ring gets here. Am Heist Born, maybe. I don't know that one. Blood and Wine. Like the damn Disney. We know Elden Ring is going to win. Well, let's look at these. Childbot, Northern Lion Game, Chinese Slop, expansion to Good Game that won last year, or won last time it was up. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I have not played, and Metaphor ReFantasio, which is just happy to be here, I think. Yeah, it's a shame Turok didn't make it onto the list, yeah. Anyway, yeah, sure, Elden Ring. I don't feel a strong pull for any of the other ones. And sometimes it's about winning, and sometimes it's about your competition shitting the bed. Best game direction. And it's just the same games. Okay. Man, game direction really skews it towards big movie games, doesn't it? So it has to kind of be one of these four. Do you want to throw the poor Atlas people a bone? It's not a waifu game, you know, there's no relationships in it, so, geez. No waifu simulator, no buy. Unfortunately, I think that 99% of the time, best game direction is synonymous with best game. And the 1% of the time it's not, it's throwing some creative random guy a bone for making a flawed but really ingenious kind of game, or at least a creative seeming game, you know. Like Death Stranding doesn't win best game, so it wins best game direction. That kind of thing. I think I really did feel the power of Metaphor number 2, I think. I'm going to give it to Metaphor here. I felt the strong presence of the director on this one. Maybe it's the runner-up category for the most part, you know. They made better waifu art than P5 and said no romance. Yeah, never forget. Best narrative. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. No, I think it's kind of a mess, actually. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. God, no. Metaphor. Maybe. Hellblade 2, I don't know. I didn't play Hellblade 2. And remake of a game that had a strong narrative, and Silent Hill 2's narrative, I think, is a little worse. Metaphor. Best art direction. We have... Look, I like Astrobot as like a kids need games too kind of thing, but the art direction is trash. Black Myth Wukong looks like it was made by AI. I get strong art direction from Elden Ring, as I do all Dark Souls games. If you're just talking about the menus, Metaphor wins easily. And Neva, as in never gonna win at anything else. And not this one either, because I don't actually like the art direction very much. It looks like a webcomic. No offense. And you won for Elden Ring already. Fuck you. I'm going to give it to the person who did the menus in Metaphor. But understand that it was a kind of a pity vote. Elden Ring probably strongly sweeps that, as they do with most FromSoft stuff, because the art direction's amazing in it. Best score in music. Stellar Blade's music is not good. Man, I'm gonna seem like such a Atlas simp, but like I don't have a lot to choose from. I don't like it that much. It's just they put up nothing. Audio design. Call of Duty Black Ops really does have a lot of good audio design in it, especially for multiplayer. But like technical audio design and cues and stuff, as much as I like shitting on Call of Duty, and as much as it deserves to get shit on. I'm going to give it to Final Fantasy. Fuck you. Best performance. Man, not very diverse video game awards. Brianna White for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hannah Telly for Life is Strange Double Exposure. I didn't play that. I played the original Life is Strange. I really liked it. I found it charming and kind of bad, but in a very endearing way. It was a time and place. I liked it. Haven't played Double Exposure. People tell me it's bad. Star Wars Outslop. No thanks. I don't know how her performance is in it, but no. Duke Roberts. Look at this fucking Giga Chad. Look at dude. This is so funny. Look at his neck. Who did you play? Pyramid Head? How did your neck get like that? Holy. Duke Roberts. And then Hellblade 2 lady. I mean, the entire game hinges upon whether Hellblade 2 lady can act or not. Best neck performance. I'm going to take a page out of the Oscars. If you're screaming and shouting and crying, then you win Best Actress. And so I'm going to give it to Hellblade 2 lady. Although, runner-up, that dude's huge fucking neck, for sure. Innovation in accessibility. Hold on. Are they really called Massive Entertainment? Oh, they're half right. I just wouldn't say entertainment. This is the only award that I think Diablo 4 actually earns, because they are really good with their accessibility. And not just in ways that are essentially cheat codes and just let the game play itself, like true accessibility. They actually seem to give a shit about that. And so this is probably the only time I would ever vote for Diablo 4 for anything. Unless it was like the Golden Turkey Awards or something. But they do a good job with accessibility, actually. Give it to Dragon Age, they need something. Yeah, they need a good game. It's too bad they've never got one ever. Dragon Age Origins was okay. Everything else, trash. No offense. G-Welding is $5. Hi, man. Just out of curiosity, do you generally follow game release yearly, or are you not much of that kind of gamer? I only kind of follow it. I do follow a lot of gaming culture stuff, yeah. More so PC than consoles, but I'm kind of in it, yeah. Still plenty of games I haven't played and all that other stuff. Anyway, thanks for the $5. And if you have a follow-up question, which I assume you do because that was kind of a setup, you know, go ahead, let me know. Did you make a video stating you couldn't stop playing D4? Yes. And in that video, I fully explain how I will get bored of it in 2 weeks because it's actually not that good, and I hope they improve it. And then they didn't. So I guess it's kind of a clickbait title thing or something like that, but yeah. Not really a clickbait title. You have to understand that I like Diablo 2 so much that I keep giving this awful company a chance, and I'm burned for it every time. Someday I won't reach for the stove, right? Actually, Diablo 4 came out with an expansion, and I didn't buy it because they didn't fix the game. Like, they're like, we'll fix this game. I'm like, okay, you'll fix the game. And they never did. And then they came out with an expansion. I'm like, I'm done. Why am I going to give you more money when I gave you money already and the game sucks and you didn't fix it? And so I suppose that's me not reaching for the same hot stove, finally. It took Diablo 4. Their art direction's good in D4, unlike D3, whose art direction was not good, so they fixed that part. But, yeah. Anyway, long story short. Games for impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I feel like this is one of those, we want you to kind of feel bad that you've never heard of any of this. Simultaneously, we want to pat ourselves on the back for, aren't we great? We talked about this game. Can I go back? Hold on. FF7 has a lot of social messages in it. You know, the first game was essentially like a very it's got an environmental message, FF7. Woven deep throughout the whole thing is environmentalism and anti-corporation, anti-nuclear, which is a little fucked up actually. Maybe even anti-capitalism a little bit. There's a lot of those pro-social messages in FF7. Metaphor ReFantazio is absolutely suffused with it. Silent Hill, maybe, I don't know, psychologically a little bit. I feel like you can have a game that's like big and good, and it happens to have social messages, and that's just icing on the cake, right? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of any of these really. I've heard of this one. I played the first one of this. I don't know if the second one's good. Yeah, other times you get Detroit Become Human, where it tries to have a message, but it's so stupid. Like it takes the simplest thing and acts like you are, like you couldn't understand it. I don't know how to describe this. It's like embarrassing. It's like a student film about why rape is bad or something, and you're like, yeah, I fucking know that. Everyone knows that. What do you mean? Computers are people too. You know, okay. Is this I remember one time when I was in film school, for a senior project, one of the people made a short film about a robot girl, and it was about, long story short, it was, this robot is sentient, and so it should have rights, and you shouldn't sexually harass it, right? I'm heavily editorializing And one of my classmates, who later became a director herself for features, was like, man, I find it weird and a little gross and a little cowardly that in order to tell us a narrative whose premise is don't rape women, you have to make the women robots for people to get it. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I just thought of that when you mentioned Detroit Become Human. But did it have good use of color? Actually, no. It had poor use of color. Anyway, Games for Impact, none of them. Because I don't know anything about all of them. Best ongoing. No Man's Sky should be here, but it's not. So this is a farce. Yeah, No Man's Sky belongs here. They just had another giant expansion worth of free update like they do every year forever, sometimes twice a year. Destiny 2, no. Diablo 4, very much no. No. I think they put this game on the list because they're afraid a company as big and powerful as Blizzard or Xbox would like get mad if it wasn't. This shit sucks. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, probably. Fort Nut. And Dead Divers 2. This game died a while ago. I liked it. It was a great 3-week game. A great 3-week game. But it's dead now. It's over. Next year, Path of Exile 2 will be on this list, and it will win it. Till then, hey, Final Fantasy, good work. You're the least bad among all of those others in the category. Great work. Can Helldivers be considered ongoing because it just released this year? I mean, can Helldivers be considered ongoing when it's dead? I don't know. I'm kidding. It got some updates. I'm being mean. It's a blast with the boys. Community support. Oh, this is where you put No Man's Sky to auto-win the award? Does it count as community support if you're adding expansions to the game for free forever? I don't know if that counts as community support. I think that counts as making the game and releasing content for it. I think that counts as ongoing. What does community support even mean? Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. What does this even mean? Am I too old? Someone help me out here. Is this like the community with the best forum moderators? The best Discord server? Transparency and responsiveness. Social media activity, inclusive of social media activity. Oh, by the way, games. All this other shit is like who has the best like social media wrangler that works for the company. This is such a minor, maybe it's, I don't know, this is weird to have in the Game Awards. Community support. I mean, I'm voting for No Man's Sky because it deserved to win the real one, which was the last one. How good their teams are at delivering updates and news about said updates on social media. And supporting the game with mods and fixes. It's like, who has the best patches? Who has the best patches and the best CM that tells you on Twitter when the next patch is coming out. Hey, all right. I mean, it's No Man's Sky. It shits on everything else forever. No Man's Sky has bought itself a win in whatever category is even kind of like that forever. And it makes every game company bigger than them shameful, really. Best independent game, it's Blatro, and it's not close. Animal Well, Literal Who, the Donkeys game that he had nothing to do with, nah. Thing I've never heard of, nah. Never gonna win. And UF No 50. It's Blatro. Thanks, Northern Lion. It was the guy's first game, I think, too. Best debut indie game, that would be Blatro again. Although Pacific Drive was sick. But Blatro made it to the best game of the year, right? It was in that category. None of these other ones were in that category. So I think this one wins by definition. Best mobile game. There is no such thing, and I will not vote. Although Blatro probably wins that. Actually, I should vote. I should vote for Blatro just so... yeah, all this other shit doesn't... Anything to hurt them. Fuck phones. Best VR AR. Goonless Gone Giro. Yeah. The best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality. That would be Beat Saber number 1. Half-Life Alyx number 2. That's it. Those are the only 2 games for VR. I abstain. You know what? Hellsinger. Fuck you. VR still exists? No. Best action game. Black Slop Wukong. Carl of Duty Black Cops. Helldongers 2. Not really that stellar Blade, if I'm honest. Or 30% of an entire game, but it was pretty fun with the boys for 3 weeks. I'm probably going to vote for pretty fun with the boys for 3 weeks. Also, Marnius Calgor was so autistic it made him immune to magic. It was fucking awesome. Calgar Sweep. Best action adventure. I don't know. This is more of a platformer. Oh, maybe that's what these are. The Legend of Zelda. Lego version. Slop Wars. Silent Hall. Prince of Persia. Or Astrobot. I feel like Astrobot should win something. The poor guys. I'll never forgive Silent Hill for changing the camera angles. It changes the whole game. I'm going to say Astrobot. The kids need something these days, too. Best RPG. Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay. Many of you might not know this, but Dragon's Dogma 2 is so shit. You have no idea how bad this game is. How disappointing this game was. One of the most bland waste of resources I've ever played. Like, this is, man, I don't even know if this guy still does this stuff. Anybody ever heard of Yahtzee Croshaw? That guy? What is it? Zero punctuation. Maybe this is an old guy thing, but like 25 years ago, he used to make flash animations and review games in an acerbic sort of Australian way. And he would do awards at the end of the year. And they were like there were 3 different categories for the awards. And one of them was, your shit is so good, right? And then the other one is, you are the worst, right? And so these are categories. And there was another category that was the bland. That it was so bland, this category, that it was almost worse than the bad ones, right? And that's Dragon's Dogma 2. It's so empty and devoid of any ideas, any interest, any thought. It's like there weren't any people working on any part of the game. It's beige maxing. He went independent recently after Escapist went to shit. Escapist was always shit. He was only a good part of it. Oh, actually, no, there was someone else that was kind of good too. That doesn't surprise me. With Jack of RLM fame, yeah. Currently on Second Wind, having renamed his whole bit, but still doing the same thing. I mean, it was his thing anyway, you know. Escapist just kind of like owned the stuff, but it was clear that he was the cause of all of Zero Punctuation's greatness. Anyhow, I hope he's all right. Anyway, Dragon's Donger 2. No, what a shit game. Eldong Ring. Is this an RPG? I guess so. You do level up and stuff. Truly, I would call this like they used to call this type of game an action-adventure game. Back when 3D was new, and it's like, ooh, you got a camera angle you can see your character on. It's basically an action-adventure game. I don't know that I would even call it an RPG, but I guess everything's an RPG now, so whatever. The names of stuff evolve. It's fine. Language evolves. What does RPG mean anymore? I don't know. It means whatever you want it to mean. You do play a role. You play a role in every single game. You know? If we're going to stretch like that. Then again, I mean, sure. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like a Dagron or Metaphor. Metaphor is much more of an RPG than Elden Ring is. But I don't think this is the category purism vote. This is just like, among these 5 games, which is the best game? And I guess that's Elden Ring. Best fighting. Dragon Ball Sparkling Zima. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Not Rising when I look at this one. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics. I mean, those are really good for their time and place. Multiverses. Moving on. I couldn't think of anything nice to say, and so I didn't say anything at all. And then Techman 8. Everyone looks so gross in this game. They're so sweaty and slimy. It's like you took a selfie with your phone and you cranked the detail up until you looked like a relief carving. Everyone looks gross in this game. And they're just rushing each other down. I don't like Tekken 8. The normie game, weeboo game, super normie, people's cats and shit. game, I'm going to give it to the old stuff that won't win as a protest vote. Dragon Ball will win because the entire continent of South America will vote for it and get it in there. Yeah, Branimate, it's the best RPG, not the most RPG. So, yeah. Best Family. Princess Peach Showtime. Super Mario Party Jamboar. Super Mario Party Jamboring. All right. The Legend of Zelda. Echoes of what was once a series. The Plucky Squire. I've never even heard of this game before, and I kind of want to click on it. I'm going to give it to Astrobot. Safe, corporate, Wall-E game. Best Sim Strategy. Age of Mythology Retold. Frostpunk. Kunitsugami, Path of the God Ass, Man Lords, and Unicorn Overload. I don't know any of these. This is where you come in, chat. Who's played even one of these games and it was good? My vote is now for sale. Jupes liked Manor Lords. Manor Lord is one psycho guy's game. Oh, all right. Good lobbying. Frostpunk will win. 3 genuine contenders here. Okay, so this is a tough one. You didn't like Unicorn Overload. It looks like the art is reminiscent to me of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. A little, not quite as stylized, but a little bit of that. Can you vote for Astrobot? Sure. All right, well, since Frostpunk 2 is going to win, and since I was most convinced with the one psycho guy, I'm giving it to Man Lords. Sorry, waifus. Best sports racing game. Damn. Well, who's going to win? Soccer? Soccer games are really popular among conquered nations. I don't mean anything by it. I just hate soccer and most sports. These are all trash. I'm going to vote for the stupidest one that can't win so that my vote is a waste. And that will be Top Spin 2K25. Best multiplayer. Helldivers 2 was very fun for the 3 weeks that I played it. In the same exact way, Space Marine 2 was very fun for the 3 weeks that I played it. Because they're both 3-week games. You play them with the boys for 3 weeks and then you fuck off forever. Going on seed sweeps, you know, accidentally shooting yourself and others. I could vote for Harada just because I think he's funny. And fighting games deserve some recognition, even though they're very niche. You think I feel like Space Marine's going to take this one, right? That being said, the silent majority always go for Activision crap, right? The 3-week Warhammer style game enjoyers will split their votes between these two, losing it for both of them. And the silent majority of normies will give Black Ops 6 the crown. That's my guess. Helldivers had it unlocked before the PSN account thing. That might have ruined it forever. Do you think that ruined it for them forever? Might have. Helldivers was a top 15 game of all time, remember? I do remember that stupid list, yeah. Of all time. Thinking about the actual gameplay, Helldivers had more of it than Space Marine 2. Space Marine looked better, and the memes were a little stupider in a funny way. And your dude looked way awesome, right? But it was a bit of a wax cake. You know, looks good, but hard to get through. I kind of want to give it to the tiny plucky team. Also, it's a futuristic space story that's supposed to be a satire, and unlike 40K, it remembers that it's supposed to be a satire and still really is. Helldiver's sweet. Even though Space Marine 2 did a pretty good job. Best adaptation. Recognizing we're voting on something that's not a game right now. We are in the Video Game Awards, and we are voting on a non-video game media right now. It's video game adjacent, but hey, all right. Arcane, overrated. Insane production value. That's look, sound, editing, music. Insane production value. Story and character is kind of like, I don't know. You can tell it's based on a video game. Sorry if I'm being a little bit of a film snob here. Fallout, trash. Knuckles, trash. Like a Dragon, kind of embarrassing looking. Tomb Raider cartoon, never heard of it. I mean, Arcane's just going to win, right? So, I guess if you can't beat them, join them. It's better than these 4, that's for fucking sure. So, among these 5, yeah, it's the best. Arcane is so good. Have you even seen it? Yeah. As a film guy, I have a chip on my shoulder when you have infinite money, but your meat and potatoes aren't great. But it was clearly the best out of those 5, so I guess we end up agreeing anyway. Knuckles had Phantom Rim Job guy in it. Do you mean, what's his name? Wasn't he the guy that wanted to be like a deep sea diver and they wouldn't let him? But then he could swim real good and so they did. Was that... What movie was that? It was like in World War II. Glub shit out, yeah. Most anticipated game. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. It's the biggest game series of all time. They captured the soccer market with this game. That's how big it is. None of these other games are a drop of water in the ocean compared to the anticipation for GTA 6. The entire country of Japan and China could vote for this and they wouldn't touch this thing. Yeah, this isn't even like an opinion. This is objective fact. GTA 6 is the most anticipated game probably on the planet until it comes out in 2030. Vote now for how hype this is. They are right. Content Creator of the Year. I heard about this. Hideous Co-Genius called the Video Game Awards and demanded his waifu, Sada Picora, be on this list. And so I think that's funny. Casey O. This guy should probably win it. I would like him to win something. Seems like a decent guy. Illo Huan. Tech Who Gamers. Typical Who. And Who Sada Picora. Anyway, she might actually win because she's like crazy popular, which is sort of what this category is about. Like how popular are you, right? She might actually win. I don't watch her though. So Casey, he's a young kid. He seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. Good work. He's also the most looks like he plays EverQuest ass motherfucker on the list for sure. Anyway. Best esports game. For the game that has delivered the best overall esports experience to players. To players, not audiences. Inclusive of tournaments, community support, and content updates. Irrespective of genre or platform. Whoever wins, we lose, first of all. Counter-Strike 2. I heard it had a rocky launch, but I don't know anything else about it. Dota 2. I hate MOBAs. League of Legends. I hate MOBAs. And this one in particular. Mobile Legends. I hate phone games. This is like the best cancer game category. And then Valorant, which sucks. Man, Counter-Strike 2 could have came out and you open up the box and there's just dog turds in it. And I would still vote for it over this cancer-killing games. Best esports athlete. It's weird to call them athletes. I know it takes a lot of skill. I know it does, in fact, even take like motor. It's just weird to call them athletes. I'm not diminishing it. It's just, it's strange, right? You're sitting down. Let's see. Your roommate at the engineering school, guy from Karate Kid, the president of South Korea, Faker who will win this because he actually wins and he's like the best ever. Failed his charisma check for this picture. And this guy's secretary. It's Faker. Best esports team. Billy Billy Gaming. Another picture of Billy Billy Gaming. Avatar, Na'vi, Tier 1, and Team Liquid. I like Team Liquid in World of Warcraft. So I'm going to vote for them for that reason. And I've never heard of any of these other guys before. So Team Liquid because of Maximilian. Race to world first. Liquid Snake. Players vote. 3 rounds, 3 chances to vote. I can't even vote yet in the player's voice. I have questions. No, you're not going to notify me. Round 1, 2, and 3. Please let me write in Concord. Dude, if Concord makes it in, I think people will vote for it as a joke. And it could win. It has a chance. Like as a complete joke. We could do it. It could happen, I think. Yeah, a spite vote. Anyway, hey, nice work. T1 is Faker's team. Okay, I didn't know that. Do you think T1 will win because Faker's going to win? I don't know much about these MOBAs and mobile games and stuff. Is Fnatic still a thing? I don't know. Didn't they have a house? Weren't there allegations at some point? I think there were allegations at some point. Well, actually, that's cheating, right? Because I could just say that about almost anything related to esports and have a decent shot at throwing the dart. That's neither here nor there. T1 was like made for him. Okay. League is big enough, so probably. Yeah, I suppose it's just yet another, like, whose game is bigger contest, right? Then again, all this stuff is like whose fan base is biggest. But then again, I don't know how much how much voting matters. It might be weighted, right? Like 90% the Shadow Council and 10% like people voting. Maybe people voting is only in the case of ties. I don't know that they spell it out somewhere. Google esports controversy. If I Googled esports controversy right now, I think my stream would go down. I don't have the bandwidth for it. I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitch. Like the anime awards. Yeah. Hey, all right. Thanks for helping me vote. I wouldn't have known what to vote for in the simulation category. But I think I chose a good one because one psycho guy. I like that one. That was a good description. Second place, the one that won. Anyway, there will be an emergency stream sometime this week. If someone finds, and by someone I mean me or somebody else, if anybody finds the Slaves to Darkness PDF leak or images of it, when I get them, I'm just going to like click go live and we'll look over them. So if that happens before Thanksgiving, then hey, all right. I won't be streaming Thursday because first of all, I usually don't. And second of all, it's Thanksgiving. I got to travel. I have to leave the Wizard Tower. But Friday is probably go. So we'll see about that. And in the meantime, I'm working on the script for Every Army / AoS lore. Please look forward to it in 7 years when I'm done. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you possibly in a Gruella stream. If I find that STD stuff, else Friday. TYVM for showing up. Have a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. And if you don't, fuck